Jimmy, Willow Shack, yeah, the bottles get Jimmy, cracking, we stacking chips, all of it's what I want, plus 20 winners, that's what I'm on. You can say I'm gone, I prefer elevated plus radio, time to get educated, get reduced, leave the juice, let loose with so much abuse that the bookies wanna call it truth. They get slaughtered, can't forget Jeff and low baggers in the chat, that's a little remedy. Pubbing.
Hey everyone, decidedly not Jimmy the Bag. My name is Jose Bouquet. Hello everyone. Over there is my Canadian friend
Howdy guys.
Gogster as I wipe off my camera. Gogster, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. Nice jersey there, bud. Looking good in the old Boston special there. 14-2. I'd be wearing that with pride.
Yeah, I put in some Boston futures, but one Jimmy the Bag actually told me not to, so I cut them in half. But I still have them, so that's nice.
Looking good. What's up, Jimmy?
What's happening, guys? Sorry about that. Had some camera issues, but I'm locked and loaded. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have an absolutely huge show today. Enormous show. NHL, we have 13 games with Mr. Gogster, and we are going to be tight and succinct with our capping. Then we roll into NFL, where our very own Mr. Gogster has swept the board back-to-back.
Pressure's on.
Back-to-back Thursdays, 6-0 over his last two shows here on Thursday night action. Then we move into NBA, and I got fed. Last night. Awful. I won 5 of my last 6. I got down into single-digit units down, and then I got destroyed last night. So I'm angry and ready to
we'll get
fight.
her back. We're gonna have a day.
I'm angry, ready to fight back. And then in NCAA basketball, we'll be next with Daby Cab. He went 2-1. I went 3-2. So I'm 5-3 to start the year. And then we get into college football, 1-1 yesterday, but we're still looking really good. We have DJ Big Boss joining us.
Hey.
Big Boss will tell us. We're going to break down the Thursday nighter. Then we're going to break into his best bets. And then we're also going to bring back Jose Bouquet for the big Oklahoma football game. That is the situation. I apologize for the camera issues off the top. Mr. Gogster, thank you for holding it down while I was restarting my computer. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Brian Watson, Nuke Worker, Billy Friedrich says, time to make some money back. Rough night for me. Good thing San Francisco held on. Yes, we were all on San Francisco, and sometimes that's a recipe for disaster. It was not. Thankfully, Alex Hills, Ryan Mueller, Justin McElvey, Danzo on Murray State Moneyline, plus 575. We will be talking about that game. That will be our first game that we break down. Serious Business, Chili Dog Dooley, Danny Lopez, Bo Jackson, Dan Kelly, Parlay, Portland, Sacramento Clippers for plus 190. Let me make sure that I have that set up here to discuss. Sorry, move that here. Dan Kelly dropping a little parlay for us. Rodney Barton, Sammy Calmer. Kings minus 6.5 for 2 units. Blazers minus 2.5 and Kings Blazers moneyline parlay for Sammy Calmer. All right. There's Dami Gun Ricci. Dami will be with us for our NFL Sunday Pub Hub Razor Sharp picks ready to get to work. Michael Irvelina, Andrew G. Von Polo, loving Oklahoma State. Robert Franklin, Adrian A. Danzo, Sweaty Butcher, Damon Santori, Mike's M. Cash, the pimp slap play of the day again. Sweaty Butcher, big cash last night on the Celtics. And Dommy Guns on the over 41 tonight in Thursday Night Football. We will be talking about that right after we break down the NHL card. I'm also on the over 41, and I'm also on the Packers. I got -3 at -120 on Tuesday night. But it wasn't initially part of the plan. We'll get into it. There's Cove Coleone in the house, Vegas King. All right, so a quick review of what happened for me yesterday. 3-2 in college basketball, plus 0.8 units. Pittsburgh was an atrocity. But Northern Kentucky, Norse, plus 6.5 cashed outright. They won by 10 plus. VCU, Arizona State under 134.5 was just a non-sweater. Gonzaga first half was atrocious, and San Francisco cash. So 3 winners and 2 just awful bets. Awful bets. Razor Sharp Pick says, how the hell are the Packers favored? I look forward to talking about the game, but it's just how long can this Titans defense bend but not break with all the injury issues that they're facing? Eastern Michigan team total under 24.5. They had 7 points at halftime. I thought I was in clear, but Western Michigan first half cashed very easily, 7-7. In the NHL, Sabres first period did not cash. St. Louis, Chicago under 6 till that flurry in the second period. I thought I was good. Kings plus 125 was a casher. Kings Edmonton under 7 was a casher. I should have gone with the 6.5 at plus 120. It ended up moving up to plus 125. And then NBA was an atrocity. Billy Friedrich saying the Titans winning outright. I look forward to break down that game. I look forward to break down all of this. Mr. Gogster, how are you, my friend? You're muted, my guy.
Mute there. Sorry about that, guys. A little bad start to the program, but just wanted to say, Jimmy, AHL last night, went to the AHL hockey game, Belleville versus Cleveland. I was telling Jose the final score in that game, guys. Both teams scored a touchdown and extra point conversion, 8-7 for Belleville. There was no goaltending. Jet Greaves got lit up for 8 or for 7. Belleville pulled their goalie. If you know Sabrin, Jim? Yes. Big old Sabrin. Oh, he was running around there trying to headhunt people. Took a 5-minute penalty. Last 6 minutes of the game there, took a 5-minute penalty. Thought the game was over. Belleville scored a shorty, took it to overtime. Good hockey game, but AHL hockey, sometimes the goalies don't show up, and the refs get trigger happy with the penalties because, there had to have been at least 10 penalties.
That's wild. Wild 8-7 night. Well, let's carry that excitement over to tonight's NHL card. Razor Sharp pick saying the Titans money line is looking juicy. Billy Friedrich already on the Titans. We're going to talk about all of that. But first, we're going to talk about NHL. I have made 5 bets already locked in. I cut a 6th bet, but I like it. I was going to have to cut the amount of money I was betting on it, and it's revolving around the Golden Knights game. We'll get to that and talk about that. But let's get to work here on NHL. We got to be quick, Mr. Gogster.
We
start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Philadelphia Flyers at Boston Bruins. Flyers 7-6-3, 3-3-2 on the road. Boston Bruins 14-2, 9-0-0 at home. We're at TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Keep an eye on the Flyers because they're going to lose 45 of the next 60 games. What happens is Tortorella comes in and he sparks some of the pluggers and some of the vets. He gets the most out of this club, and then they start despising him.
Loshak wanted to be Tortorella for Halloween, and if you actually put a face-to-face with those two, they look pretty damn close. It's pretty funny.
That's funny. My girlfriend went as Loshak for Halloween one year. And,
I remember that. That was good.
It was funny. So watch out for this. There's already a ton of angry players in the room. This is just what happens. He gets them excited, gets some of the vets excited, and then he starts being himself. And this team is going to end up probably with the worst record in the NHL.
That's a strong, wow, really, Jimmy, eh?
Yes. So, but I'm sure the market is going to be a big part of it. Like, I mean, what do you do here? We're not the market's going to realize how bad Philadelphia is going to be moving forward. There's been a 10-cent move to the Bruins. Look, I'm not sitting here saying we're going to have opportunities to fade the Flyers, but watch everything fall apart now after their strong opening. And
they're minus 300, eh? Holy shit. That's getting up there, no?
It is. And look, I'm not sitting here saying that we should bet the Bruins minus 125. Like I'm not, in no means am I saying that. But watch everything fall apart here in Philadelphia. If you hear what the players are saying and what the rumors are about what's going on in there, is that there's already so much unrest. It's all changed here. Flyers coming off their 4th straight loss, 5-4 in overtime at Columbus on Tuesday. Bruins coming in off their 4th straight win, 5-2 at home over the Canucks on Sunday. They're a rested group ready to attack. Boston power play at 25.4%, penalty killing 91.7%, best team in the NHL. Philadelphia 17.3%, penalty killing at 76%. We'll quickly touch on the line movement. As I said, the 10-cent move towards Boston. There's been a 2-cent move to the over from -1 or 15 to -117. And cash-wise here, you have most of the money line bets on the Flyers because no one's going to bet Boston money line at this price. And then most of the -1.5s, obviously, on Boston. I don't really want that either. 46% of tickets, 96% cash on the under. Take it away here. First game on the card, Flyers, Bruins.
Oh, okay. Let's do her. I got a lot of goalie stats here. I love my goalies, Jim, as you know. But yeah, there's problems in Philadelphia land ever since the Phillies. That World Series, Jim, kind of fell. They didn't win it, and sorry to bring that up for all Philly fans. But ever since that's kind of the letdown of all that, it seems like the Flyers have kind of fallen off too. But they got Carter Hart, Jimmy. This is the big bright side to the. That's why if he falls off, then you know what? Yeah, they're losing 45 of the next 60. I can see that because they got problems, but. Boston, they got Allmark. He's confirmed in net too. He's the best goalie I have here, Jimmy, from goals saved above expected. I think that's a huge stat you guys want to look at. It pretty much lets me know if a goalie's good or bad. So you got the top 5 goalies in the league right here. You got Allmark, who's number 1. He's got a 10.78 goals saved above expected, Jimmy. And then Carter Hart's 4th in the league with how bad of the hockey team he has in front of him too, with a 7.91. I'm going to go with, I don't know if I'm going to double up, but I think there's going to be no goals early here. I'm going with for sure. I'm going to take the no. Well, actually, you know what? For sure, I'm going to take first period under, guys. 1.5 plus 120, Jimmy. I think but Philly's got a chance in hell here. They can't score. They've been allowing a lot of goals too, so it's a little bit of risky, you could say, from what's been going on the last few games for both these teams. But looking at these two goalies, I'm going to trust what they can do. And the defense hasn't looked that good for Philly. It really has fallen off, but. I'm going to trust them for the first period here, Jimmy. No goal, or sorry, not no goal. First period under 1.5 plus 125.
You are locked in here. First period under 1.5 plus 125.
You like that one?
I don't know exactly. Like Boston not playing since Sunday, playing against the Flyers could come out a little soft. If the Flyers pot one with Boston kind of not finding their legs early, then Boston will come back with a vengeance. I don't dislike it. Plus 125. I don't dislike it at all. Jacksonville Zoe, birthday today. Happy birthday, Zoe. Much love to you. Happy birthday, my guy. In the sun. While we are in the snow, he is in the sunshine.
I'm not in the snow yet, Jamie. We got 15 large coming on Saturday. So
let's move on, though. First period under 1.5 plus 125, and watch everything fall apart in Philadelphia. That's what I'm saying. Watch everything fall apart in Philadelphia. Next up for us, 7 p.m. Eastern, Colorado Avalanche 8-5-1, 4-3-0 on the road at Carolina Hurricanes 10-5-1, 4-2-0 at home at PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Alexander Georgiev or Georgiev. You hear everybody pronounce it differently.
I got Georgiev, whatever, you know.
Yeah, Georgiev. That's what I initially started using, and then I heard the soft G, but I'm going back to Georgiev. 7-2-1, 2.7, no goals against average, 924 save percentage against Pyotr Kochekov, 2-0, 1 goals against average, 959 save percentage, 1 shutout. I believe it's Kochekov. It might not be. Colorado power play at 37%, unbelievable. Penalty killing at 72%. Billy Friedrich will be at PNC Arena tonight for this one. That's dope, man. That'll be fun. Carolina power play at 16.1%, penalty killing at 78%. Let's take a look at the line history here, and we have the Avs opening up at plus 101. They're now plus 115. A big move towards Carolina at home. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 6 plus 101. It's now 6 minus 109. We take a look at the cash flow for this one. Not a bunch of tickets in, but it's 48% of the tickets, 58% of the cash on Carolina, but the books are concerned about that cash. 45% of the tickets and 59% of the cash on the under. Avalanche had their 4-game winning streak snapped to a 3-2 loss at home to the Blues on Monday. Carolina won their second in their last 3 games, 3-0 at the Blackhawks on Monday. What do you think here, Gogster? Anything you're interested in?
Well, I'm thinking Raanta is going to be in net. That's what I was looking up as you were talking there, Jim. I think Raanta is going to be in starter's crease. Looks like he's going to be going. So Raanta in net. Georgiev, looking at the goalie stats here as I do. Georgiev 6th so far, Jimmy, in the NHL. Goals saved above expected, 6.28. So low key, this guy's actually been pretty damn good for Colorado. That's with all the injuries. So, Byram, Boers, Landeskog, Nichushkinin, Girard too. Is he going to be going, Jimmy? I see Sammy Girard. He's questionable. So how long can these injuries hold up for Colorado? Because I think, especially on the back end, they're missing those two. Even Landeskog and Nichushkinin, those are 4 good pieces of that Stanley Cup team right there. They're missing. So what do I have here? I think I also have the where are we here? No goal. I got the same double up here. No goal and also first period under. I'm going to just take one of them here. What do you guys think in the chat? You think we should go no goal first 10? or under 1.5, or just say, Gogster, you're nuts, and fade both of them. But ran to Jim 31st, goals saved above expected. So hasn't been as good. Gorgiev's the better of these two goalies. Teravainen's the only player out for Carolina, which is good. 4 of the last 5 under the total for Carolina. That's full game total. And Colorado, 3 of the last 4 have also gone under the total. So both of these teams have been trending to the unders, Jim. And I'm gonna stick to that theory here. What do you guys think in the chat? I think I'm gonna go no goal first 10. Under 1.5, people are saying in the chat. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna trust that. I'm not gonna get too cute. I'm gonna agree with you guys in the chat. Let's go under 1.5. Carolina, Colorado, first period here, and it's at plus 120, Jimmy.
Plus 120 for you here. I probably should have put more time into this game, but it shouldn't have opened where it opened. Now you're getting minus 127 on Carolina, but opening up at minus 114 with Byram and possibly Gerard coming back. Usually players don't come back on the first game of a road trip. It's the home situation. The home is where they usually come back from injury. I don't expect him to come back here. Billy Frieder said, Brindamore Moore said, nobody's close to getting back out of the injured players. There's picks from Dave. What up, Dave, in the house?
Dave.
Carolina should be a bigger favorite. Colorado 4-3-0 on the road. Carolina 4-2 at home. They each have similar rest. The Avalanche are dealing with all these injuries, and if they played a 7-game series in the Stanley Cup, and Colorado was missing 2 of their top 4 defensemen, do you think Carolina would win every game at home, or would they just win 2 games at home?
Well, that's what they remember in the playoffs, Jim. They can win every game at home, but they can't win them. They can't win on the road. That was always their problem. But yeah, no, I think they would take care of business with those injuries to the back end for Colorado.
I should be on Carolina already. It was a misstep by me.
-1? Is that where you're going?
I'm going to have to. I'm not going to take them at minus 130. I do take some totals at minus 130, but I won't take sides at minus 130.
Yeah, heavy under trends here, guys. You got one over for Carolina in their last 5, and you got 1 over for Colorado in their last 4. So I think we're going to have a better performance from round to 2 at home, and Gorgiev's 6th best in the league right now from stats I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from the total, although I would definitely be on an under. Definitely if I'd be on the under, but I find it fascinating that this total's jumped up to 6.5 and come back down, then jumped up to 6.5 and come back down. It's not at 6 becoming, like just heavily juiced to the over. They keep flipping it back up to 6.5, and now it's juiced to the under.
There's also a revenge factor here, Jimmy, too, for Carolina. They lost 4-1 at Colorado November 12th. So they got the revenge factor too. That game did go under.
When you're playing against the defending Stanley Cup champions, it means a ton to the opposition. Does it mean anything to Colorado here?
Home barn too. Yeah.
So I'm moving on Carolina -1. I should already be on them. That is my mistake. All right, let's move on. There's Sharpie in the house.
Baby.
Rebecca. Oh man, that's I still get embarrassed by being certain that meant revenge. Okay, let's move on. I was in a
beat that morning, baby.
I was in an MMA gym screaming that shit. I was at a female boxing match screaming that shit. Okay. Let's move on. That will be in addition to my card. As I said, I already have 5 bets, so that will be the 6th bet. I'm on the Hurricanes -1. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern. Pace is good here. Gogster, Montreal Canadiens 8-7-1, 3-3-1 on the road. Columbus Blue Jackets 5-9-1, 4-5-0 at home at Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. I have Sammy Montembeault on here. There's a lot of talk about why the Canadiens are playing so well. A lot of talk about what is happening there, and a big start of it, and we won't get into too much because we need to keep a nice tight pace, but it's what Marty St. Louis is doing in practice. Marty St. Louis spent a ton of his career saying all these things we're doing in practice are a waste of time. They're a waste of time. They're not helping us in game situations. And now he's the head coach, and his practices are supposedly the high tempo, exciting. The players love to be out there. They stick around for longer.
As they should be.
It's Marty St. Louis that's changing everything. And of course, the Blackhawks giving up on Kirby Dach is confusing for a team in a rebuild. And he looks so good on that first line with Caulfield and Suzuki. So Montreal power play at 15.9%, penalty killing at 79.6%. Columbus power play at 10.5%, penalty killing at 78.6%. We know Laine's out once again long-term. Boone Jenner starting to play a little better at center, which I had expected this year. I think he's a good centerman. Habs had their 3-game winning streak snapped in a 5-1 loss at home to the Devils on Tuesday night. Blue Jackets won their second over the last 3 games in the 5-4 overtime victory at home over the Flyers on Tuesday night. So let's take a quick look at the line history here. We have the Habs open up -103. They're now -101. They got up to -115. So the early money liked them. Late money coming in on Columbus. This total opened up at 6.5, juiced to the over. It's now juiced to the under. We go over to the cash flow in this one. We have 75% line value, the most on the entire card on the Montreal Canadiens. 71% of the tickets and 93% of the cash is on the Canadiens. Now we're talking about just 1,071 tickets, but it's certainly not moving the market at all. So the books don't seem to be afraid that this money is coming in on Montreal. Then 45% tickets, 62% cash on the over. This Columbus Blue Jacket scores more goals than you'd think while having the worst power play in the league. Take it away for us, Gogster, Habs, Jackets.
That's a beautiful table you laid there, Jim. Full family size. Yeah. So this one here, I don't see how Montreal is not the play here, Jim. I really don't. We got Sammy Montembeault. He's 9th in the league. He's played actually 335 minutes too. He's 9th in the league for goals saved above expected. You want us to know what Allen is? He's 50th, -1.78. So Sammy Montembeault he's their guy, and it's good to see because he's been in the AHL farm systems for a while there. And he's proven his spot. He's a gamer too, and it's good to hear. It all starts in the practices. What you just said there, Jimmy, makes me really like Montreal, even against tough teams. Laying maybe a puck and a half or 2.5 if they're a big underdog. Coached very well. Coming off, they've won 3 of their last 4. Coming off a 5-1 loss to New Jersey, I have here. So coming off a brutal loss. I don't know how you back Columbus. I talked about the monsters there, their farm system. They didn't have their top guy, Kirill Marchenko, and I don't think he was called up. I don't see him being called up yet to Columbus. They're depleted, Jimmy. Columbus. They're really hurting. Merzlikins is also questionable. That's something I wanted to look up really quickly just to see if it's going to be Merzlikins here because last second there they had to call up. Oh, God, he's slipping my mind right now. Anyway, Tarasov. They called up Tarasov for Columbus. So just trying to see here. Looks like AHL Cleveland had not seeing anything on the starting goalies yet. But I don't know how Tarasov has made it here. Is on the bench in full gear after being the star of yesterday's practice. So, yeah, it looks like I think Tarasov might be going here, not Merzlikins. I see this line only going up, guys. This is one of my probably favorite plays on the card, Jim. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm going to double up on Montreal first period and full game here. -110 first period, guys. -112 full game. This is just a much better hockey team. Only 2 wins in the last 8 games for Columbus. Guess who they were against, Jim? Philadelphia. Sorry, I didn't even let you guess. Like, God, I set you up for the. That's my apologies.
It's all good, buddy.
But yeah, it's Philadelphia. They can't. That's the only 2 wins they've had in the last 8 days, guys. So, wow. Penny Slatsy says Penny's got it +102. Oh, it's a gift.
And you haven't tweeted any of this out, so we can give you the best line available.
Yeah. Let's take it. I got to write that down for when I tweet it out. Yeah.
I just would like to go over the line. I'm very hesitant to take Montreal at a pick'em price or as a favorite all year. I'm very, very hesitant to do that, and
Lee.
I get. Let's just. Oh, sorry. Let's. I just want to take a quick look at what Columbus is doing with their lineup because they're down Voracek, they're down Werenski, they're down Laine. So let's just.
Okay, there's more stuff here. Emil Benstrom is a game time decision. This guy's been clutch. He came up from the AHL. He might not go. Merzlikins is out 1 to 2 weeks. Jake Bean is likely out for a while too, which is a defenseman, one of their better ones now that Rosla or number 8's out there, their back end guy. So I can't remember all these names. Jacksonville was giving it to me. 13 games. Gogster's getting old.
I just want to quickly go over what the Oh God, the Boone Jenner line is. Why is it taking me so? Oh God, this is gonna kill me.
Jim, I think this team's going to lose a lot of games going forward. You're talking about Philly. I think Columbus's dumpster fire is coming. Like they're starting to light the gasoline around Columbus. It just needs a flame.
God, what's going on with my computer? It's just pissed me off right now. I mean, obviously Jenner is on that first line with Goodrow.
Like they're depleted as you. They're probably the most depleted team in the league. Like they got Jenner, Gaudreau, Cole Singer. Like all these guys are Jack Roslovich back in the lineup. It's a young ass team. It's a really young team. I shouldn't say young ass team. It's a young team. Just a bad hockey team until they get a lot of their key players back. Jim, I cannot. 10 football. I ain't touching Columbus.
Something wants to know if you've heard of Adina High School. It's a legendary hockey high school. I've not heard of Adina.
Adina High School? No. Is it Canadian or American?
Must not be Canadian. I would have probably heard of it. You know what? I get it, Gogster, but I don't want the Habs on the road at this price. I expect them to fight back after that 5-1 loss, but this is just not where I want them. I don't want them. But I
can't make a case for Columbus at all. I don't know how you can.
Oh, I'm not betting Columbus. I just we're in Columbus again. I just do not want the Habs at this price. I just want them as dogs. I'm not going to take them on the road. I'm going to have pretty strict rules with the Habs. But take it. You're with Slatsy, so you're in good company. So Gogster's on Montreal first period minus. Whoa, let's get you the best.
There's one guy who knows his Canadians right now. I'm going to tell you it's Slatsy45 in the chat. He was on one there. It was last show. I was on Montreal, I believe, and he says, Gogster, the Devils are the play. What happened? 5-1 Devils. So good to see he's on Montreal here.
So we can get. I got minus 101 and minus 103 at Pinnacle right now. So we'll give you the 0-3 first period and 0-1 full game. Move on to Stars, Panthers. Stars 9-5-2, 5-3-2 on the road at the Panthers. 9-6-1, 5-1-1 at home. We're at Florida Live Arena in Sunrise. Ottinger versus Bobrovsky. Stars lost their third over their last 4 games in the 5-4 overtime setback at Tampa on Tuesday night. Panthers won their third over the last 4 in a 5-2 win at home over the Capitals, also on Tuesday night. Ottinger versus Bobrovsky. Ottinger 6-2-1, 2.12 goals against average, 929 save percentage. I'm still beating myself up for not taking that over in that first game he returned against the Sharks. I wanted it. I don't know why I let.
Don't beat yourself up, Jim.
It pissed me off.
I like seeing that.
Panthers open up minus 164. They're now minus 165. From a total perspective, it opened up at 6.5 juice to the over. It's now a pick 'em at 6.5. From a cash flow standpoint, we have 52% of the tickets, 69% of the cash on Dallas. 2% of the cash. Oh, sorry, that's 52.69. Yeah, 34% of the tickets and 2% of the cash on the under. 98% of the cash on the under, and now they brought it all the way back. So I just I find that interesting because what they're saying right now is that the Panthers are not an over squad anymore, and the market's starting to correct themselves. They're also saying that the Panthers are going to dictate the pace in this game, not the Stars, who are a complete over team. Their offenses, their power plays at 33.3%. So I'm not sure what to do with this spot. Ghost, are you moving on it?
I got cold feet on this one. Even we're going to Florida Sunrise. Bobrovsky, Ottinger, I got 7th right now. Goals saved above expected. Jimmy 6.23. Bobrovsky's 41st. He's minus 0.36. So he looked better in his last game against Washington, but Florida actually in general, Jimmy, they're on a bit of a high right now. They're playing good. 5-2, 3-0 against Carolina, 5-3 against Anaheim. One loss was versus Edmonton, 4-2. So you look at Dallas on the other hand, they've lost 3 of their last 4. So Dallas is going to be a hungry team here, Jimmy. They battled their way against Tampa Bay, just couldn't get that win in overtime. I have written down. I'll tell you what I have written down here, guys. Dallas team total over 2.5. That's just they've been hitting the over left, right, and center here. This is a much tougher team too than Washington for Bobrovsky going up against Dallas, coming off 3 of the last 4 losses too. I lean to the over. I lean to Dallas, to be honest, Jimmy, plus 145. at that plus number. Do you really think they're going to fit? Like, what do you think here, brother? I'm a little up and down on this game. I think I want to be on Dallas, though.
I would prefer like a Dallas team total over 3 plus money. The 2.5 minus 150.
Yeah.
I don't think so. One of the things we've talked about Florida is they're still tough to play at home. 5-1-1 so far. So they've lost 1 game in regulation over their 7 home playoff dates. So, and do we feel like Dallas is a good road squad? Do you think that Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin were out in South Beach last night? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the answers are to those questions. But even though that Rupi Hintz line with Robertson and Pavelski so electric offensively, they don't instill their physical will on you. This is not a tough team to play against. It's just you got to stay out of the box. So if I was going to take anything, I would take the over 3. I don't believe that Ottinger is as good as we saw him in the playoffs. I don't believe he's as good as we saw him in the beginning of the year. I don't think he's a top 5 or 10 goaltender in the NHL skill-wise, but he's proven me wrong. Slatsy says, man, the stars at that price are tempting. Stimmy's on the Panthers. I'm not going to – I'm going to – I'm going to need a Carolina Panthers. I'm going to need a team – like we talked about the Kings on the road against the Oilers. Now, the Oilers are a pretty easy team to pick on because they lost all their depth pieces, but you need to play a compact, tough road game to beat these great home teams. And I thought that the Kings would do it after allowing 6 goals to the Flames, that they would tighten everything up against the Oilers, and they did just that. Can you expect the Stars to go in and play a perfect road game to beat the Panthers? I just don't know if it's possible. And Jake Valent saying Ekblad is back.
That's wow. There you go. If Ekblad's back, then that's I don't want anything to do with this game. While we're talking about it, Jimmy, I think I'll just leave it as a lean with Dallas right now.
Let's keep rolling. You can add it. We've got time. 7 p.m. Eastern, Calgary Flames 7-6-2, 1-2-1 on the road at Tampa Bay Lightning, 9-6-1, 5-2-1 at home. Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. Markstrom 6-3-2, 3.06 goals against average, 889 save percentage. Look at Vasilevsky's numbers. All of a sudden, they're even worse than they were to start off the year last year. We know who he is and what he's going to do, but 5-5-1, 3.10 goals against average, 898 save percentage is bad. Calgary power play at 20%, penalty killing at 81.7%. Tampa power play at 22.7%, penalty killing at 80.3%. Flames coming off their second straight win, 6-5 at home over the Kings on Monday night. Then they fly down to South Beach from Calgary. Lightning won their second straight 5-4 in overtime at home over the Stars on Tuesday night. And this is as good as the Lightning are going to be until possibly the trade deadline, when they add some pieces. But right now they're healthy. They're playing well. There's been no movement here. There had been. The Flames went down to even money, but they're back at plus 111 at Pinnacle. From a total perspective, it opened up at 6.5, minus 117 to the under. I don't expect Calgary to want to fight fire with Tampa, but man, Tampa's been scoring goals. I would expect Calgary to play a tight defensive game here against Tampa, especially when you have guys like Huberdeau and Weegar who remember this is a house of horrors and want to badly beat them. But I can't trust this Flame squad at this point. They've won 1 game in regulation on the road. Now they've only played 4. What are you doing here?
Oh, this is another real tough one, Jim. I'll tell you guys what I have written down. Stats-wise for these goalies, you're talking about Vasilevsky. He's not looking. He's actually bottom 50 right now, Jimmy. He's 57th in goals saved above expected, which is a pretty important stat if you ask me. He's 57th, minus 2.60. Markstrom, he's no better, 66th, minus 5.48. So they get a little bit. I think if they had better goaltending, Calgary, maybe they could have got a couple more wins. But both of these goalies have problems just from their numbers. You got to think though, Jim. We know hockey, but that's going to regress back positively to the norm, as they say, with Vasilevsky and even Markstrom. They're not that bad, both them two. Cernak and Foot, are they going to be in? I think they're going to be out. Cernak and Foot, so they'll be game time decisions. They have won 2 games in a row, Calgary. I'm leaning towards, to be honest, Jimmy, I'm probably not going to play it, but both teams to score in the first period is where I was looking towards. Looking at the power play for Calgary in the last 10 games, it's 13%. 19%. Both penalty kills are below 80%. So not a game I have a good feel on. If anything, though, guys, what do you think on the both teams to score in the first period? I know you're pretty much saying that you think Vasilevsky will be better.
I don't know if it'll be better now, but it'll be better when push comes to shove and they need him to be better.
Well, I'm going to play both teams to score in the first period, Jimmy. I am going to play this one. It's plus 140. Just the way these two teams have the numbers are telling me that both teams are scoring the first periods to play. 6-1-1 to the over Tampa Bay in their last 8 games here. Opponents have also scored, are also on the puck line here. Sorry, guys, the stats. On the puck line here, Tampa Bay, Calgary. Calgary is 1-8 on the puck line. So Calgary hasn't been able to cover many puck lines. I just think, to be honest, I think there's going to be goals. I maybe don't have as strong of a case here going to the courtroom, but yeah, give me the both teams to score, buddy.
Is that 120?
I think I had 140.
140. All right, you got it,
brother.
I'm going to stay off this spot. There's a bunch of spots I am attacking here on the card, and I'm going to stay off that one. Let's move on. 7 p.m. Eastern, the hottest team in the NHL, the New Jersey Devils, 13-3-0, 6-1-0 on the road. The Toronto Maple Leafs, 9-5-3, 6-2-1 at home. Scotiabank Arena in Toronto, Ontario. Vitek Vanacek has been very good this year. 7-1-0, 2.17 goals against average, 915 save percentage, 1 shutout. Matt Murray is back, and I don't trust him. He looked good in that game against Pittsburgh. He graded out quite well, but I don't trust him. It's, there was a lot of talk about Matt Murray in the radio over the last few days, and a bunch of goalie coaches talking about, what's going on with Matt Murray. And they all kind of said the same thing. They said that an East Coast Hockey League goaltender, an AHL goaltender, can come up to the NHL and play one game really well.
Oh, nailed it.
But can they do it consistently? Exactly. And that's what Murray's not being able to do. We'll see if he's able to do it here. But I will say this. A lot's gone wrong with the Maple Leafs so far this year. And Austin Matthews not scoring. They dealt with injuries. Losing Muzzin is like a huge loss on the back end. And they're still 9-5-3, 6-2-1 at home. They have this nucleus of forwards that's exceptionally talented. You could figure out a way to make this team elite. Obviously, they need goaltending and they need a Muzzin-type defenseman. We'll see if that happens. But this is a dangerous Leafs hockey team. And I don't like the Leafs, just because I'm a Vancouver guy. But this is a very dangerous hockey team. Now, you may not want to back them here at minus 140. You may want to pick times on the road. They go up against Sid Crosby or things of that nature. But this hockey team should win a lot of games for us. They should win at a 600 clip plus for the rest of the season. But here, do you want to try to catch a falling knife against a Devils team that just comes off winning their 10th straight 5-1 at Montreal on Tuesday night? And this game means so much to the Devils going from the Bell Center to ACC. Leafs coming off their second straight win 5-2 at Pittsburgh on Tuesday night. Let's take a look at just quickly the line history here. And we have the Leafs opening up minus 135. They got up to minus 146. So there's been Devils buyback now. But the initial move was pretty heavy towards the Leafs. From a total standpoint, 6.5 minus 113 to the over. There's a 6-cent move to the over. But this had got up to minus 129. And when you take a look at the cash flow here, you have 59% of the tickets and 99% of the cash on the Devils. And the market's not moving really towards them. This also gives 65% line value to the Devils. From a total standpoint, 75% of tickets and 87% of cash to the over. Take it away, Gogster.
Oh, man. So, well, this game here, the Devils, I think they know this team's won, 11 in a row now, 10 in a row. They've been winning left, right, and center. So Toronto knows this is a big game. This isn't one just to kind of like, it's the Devils coming in. No, this is a really good New Jersey Devils team now. Just looking at the last few matchups here, last 3 games or dating back to last year, Toronto's had their number, winning the last 3. But in this game here, Calgren, 55th goal saved above expected. So he's the perfect example, Jim. I want to really keep an eye on him when you're talking about AHL goalies, because he had a real bright spot there against Boston and the other game slipped my mind, but he looked really good in a back-to-back against 2 really tough teams. He won both of them. But he's again, he's still working on some, some kinks. The goalie coaches, I imagine they're still working on some things with him, but Vanacek 20th, 1.96 goal save above expected. So he's a middling goalie, but in this game here, this is a tough one. This is a real tough one. More I'm thinking about it. Toronto's won 5 of the last 7. New Jersey's covered, Jimmy, 8 of the last 10 puck lines. Not just wins, guys. They've covered 8 of the last 10 puck lines. So both teams, strong numbers, home and road splits. If I had to make a play here on side or total, I would probably lean towards goals, to be honest, Jimmy. I know it sounds very cliche here, but this Devils offense is real good. And Toronto can fight fire with fire here. So another thing, too, Jordy Ben. He's been a nice addition to this team, kind of filling in right now for Brody and their other defenseman they have right now, Muzzin. So I'm not as strong on this. I don't have a play on this one, guys. People in the chat, love to hear what you're on. But, I lean towards some goals here.
I think there's going to be goals, too. I do, but the minus 125, that VIG on totals has hurt me in the past. I think there's going to be goals here. I do. I'm hesitant to move on it, but
how are you going to play this?
I'm either going to take that 6.5 or just stay off completely. I'm going to put asterisks and question marks here. So let's keep. Say what, my man?
Oh, Wall in the chat here. Everyone in the chat's just tuning in. You got to love it, just growing and growing. It's great.
Let's keep rolling. We can add to it because we want to get into NFL here, and then we have NBA, NCAA basketball, and NCAA football here still on the card. So let's keep rolling. Next up for us, 8 p.m. Eastern, Pittsburgh Penguins and Minnesota Wild. Penguins 6-7-3, 3-5-2 on the road. Minnesota Wild 7-7-2, 2-4-1 at home. Red XL Energy Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. We now have Marc-Andre Fleury out for 3 to 4 weeks. I don't know how much that will hurt them, in all honesty. He's not been that good. Philip Gustafson comes in. He's got a 2.81 goals against average, 914 save percentage. Tristan Jarry on the other side has been bad for the Penguins. Pittsburgh power play 18.2%, penalty killing 75.9%. Minnesota power play at 21.8%, penalty killing 81.5%. It's funny, this Wild has so many pieces that make them so close to being a really good team. But, you take out Fiala, every other team has 10 more million to play with than you because of the salary cap recapture from Parise and Suter, and now you're an average hockey team. And it's, it makes me happy that they're average because I've got them under 99.5 points. But
nice.
Minnesota opening up minus 116. They're now minus 108. This used to be a really tough place to play. This total opened up at 6.5 juice to the over. It's now 6.5 juice to the under. And then from a cash flow side of things, we have here the Wild they're giving Pittsburgh line value here. 64% of the tickets, just 40% of the cash on Minnesota, and then 58% of the tickets, 90% cash on the over. Take it away here for us, Mr. Gogster. Penguins, Wild.
All right, Pittsburgh, Minnesota, guys. We'll be quick with this one. Pittsburgh's lost 8 of the last 10, 2 wins, 4-2 against Toronto, 4-1 against Washington. Fleury, now that he's out, I can tell you a lot about Gustafson. I watched him very closely here in Belleville. Is he going to be okay? Another example of an AHL goalie. He might look good for a couple games. He's got 277 minutes under his belt, which is decent. His goal saved above expected is 1.19. It's actually a little bit better than Fleury. With that being said, I think this is a bad spot for Minnesota, Jimmy. 9 of their last 10 have gone under the total. They can't score. Big piece that they're missing is Ryan Hartman, guys. He's a two-way player. He's a real heart and soul, if you ask me, Jimmy, to this hockey team now that they've lost some pieces. But yeah, I don't know how you don't take even a Minnesota team total under here. I know Yari, he's 52nd with a minus 1.83 goals saved above expected. I do think I think this is a team that those numbers can get better for him. 52nd, expect him to play better here. Minnesota just can't score. 9 of the last 10 have gone under the total. Lost 4 of the last 6, Jim. I'm looking good for that team total or that win total there. I'm going to double up here. Can I double up? Let's see. What's the number I have here? We have Pittsburgh. I'm going to do a double up here. Minus 110. I think that's too kind. And full game money line, Jim, minus 110. First period money line, minus 105.
Well, we can give you the Pens first period at plus 100 here at Pinnacle. So we'll do that first period plus 100. And then we'll give you the full game here very quickly. Full game.
Yeah.
At another minus 102. Minus 102. I get it. This is Pittsburgh or no bet. It's tricky. The Wild have won 2 of 7 games at home in regulation. That's what they've become now. The Penguins have won 3 of 10 games on the road in regulation. Do you want to trust either of these teams right now? Certainly, Pittsburgh would be the team to trust. But even so, I don't want to do it. By the way, Ryan Hartman is so important. Ryan Hartman was picked up off for nothing from the Blackhawks. But the reason why he became so important is because they're so weak. Minnesota's so weak down the middle. And then Jordan Greenway having that big, tough, he's such an important playoff type performer. The Penguins are healthy. They're coming off a 5-2 loss to the Leafs. They should roll. They should come in here and absolutely roll.
Early and often too. So I like the double up too. I think this line, if 3 weeks down the road here, I expect Pittsburgh to get a lot better. And with no Fleury, guys, keep a close eye on Gustafsson because he's going to be up against it here, Jim. I'm pretty high on this play. One of my stronger plays on this card in the NHL, sidewise. Pittsburgh double up here.
Yeah, I'm interested in Pittsburgh. It may be an addition for me. I would only take them full game, but it may be an addition for me.
Sorry, Jim. What was the number you got for me there, brother? 102 on the full game. What was the first period?
Plus 100 on the first period. All right. So I said that I made 5 bets and almost 6 before the show started. This is where they all start. They start here, 8 p.m. Eastern. Islanders, Nashville, Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. Predators are playing better. They come on off their second straight impressive win at home. Both were 2-1. They beat the Rangers on Saturday. Then they defeated the Wild on Wednesday. And they're starting to play smart, tight hockey here. So Jeffrey Blue, what up? Also Jeffrey Blue's birthday. Jacksonville Zoe and Jeffrey Blue celebrating their birthdays. Marquand Fitz says, how do I become a capper professionally? Marquand, you just need to show your skill set over a legitimate period of time publicly with transparency and honesty, and everybody will follow along. The best place to do that is Twitter. So you just start putting out your plays and track them, have a spreadsheet, track them and put them out, and people will notice. I mean, if you're winning, people notice because 95+%. I mean, if you ask the books, they say 98% of the accounts that they have are negative. That's also because if you're positive, they kick you out. So it's a tricky thing.
Take every opportunity that comes your way.
Mike M says, love the under here. I moved on the under 6 and minus 120. It was the first play that jumped out at me today was the under 6 and minus 120. It's still sitting there right now. We know how the Islanders play. Ilya Sorokin coming off their second straight win 4-2 at Ottawa on Monday night. They play sound defensive hockey. And now the Predators are doing the same thing. We know what we're going to get with Sorokin. He's a fantastic goaltender, elite, top 5 in the league. And UC Saros is starting to play like 1-2. Islanders power play at 20%, but look at both teams' penalty killing. Islanders penalty killing at 84.2%. Remember when Arizona came to Long Island and we took the under in that game? The whole idea was Arizona's top 5 power play would be stymied by the Islanders, and they don't score 5-on-5. So what would they do? And that game ended 1-0, I think, 1-0 or 2-1. And then Nashville's penalty killing is at 83.3%, and they're not scoring on the power play. Roman Yossi's not having a good start to the season. Stimmy OG is on the Predators, but this was what I believed was. It was the first move I bet. It was the first move I bet today. I'll just leave it at that. Minus 118. Nashville opened up. Now they're minus 116. From a totals perspective, this opened up at 6, and it's now at 5.5 at Pinnacle.
Whoa. Call that the alarm button. That's the first 5.5 I remember all year. For Jesus.
It's moved to 5.5 at Pinnacle. So if you like this under, I would get on it soon. There's my guy, Rez Mob and Good in the house. And then let's just quickly take a look at the cash flow here in this one. With these two teams, this shouldn't be put at 6. Simply put, it's just I would never have opened it at 6, but we've seen all these games soar over so far this year. 73% of the cash money line tickets are on the Islanders, just 56% of the cash. So 73% of the tickets, 56% of the cash, 65% of the tickets on the under, 85% cash on the under. Take it away for us. Islanders, Predators.
Yeah, I'm in agreement here with you, Jim. On the under. Now Nashville, they have won the last 2 games, but before that they were a little bit shaky. But I really think at home now, they've beaten two pretty good hockey teams in the Rangers, Minnesota. They've fallen off a bit. But Sorokin, nothing bad to say about Sorokin. He's the 3rd best in the NHL right now, guys, for goals saved above expected. Jimmy, just like you said, top 5 goalie, 9.28. Saros, I do expect him to be a little bit better. He's 35th with a 0.40 goals saved about expected. So heavy advantage in net to the Islanders. This could be a bit of a letdown for Nashville. I don't want to talk anyone off Nashville, but won their last 2 games here. This is a tough defensive hockey team to play, Jim. You got a goalie too that's damn good. This really does smell like an under. More and more I'm thinking about it. Tough defensive team to play against the Islanders. Nashville, they don't scream goals. They've had problems scoring. Looking at what they have, 26 goals for, 31 against in their last 10 games. And quickly see if I can find the Islanders. Where are you there, Islanders? Pop your head up. The Islanders are, Gogster can't, there they are, 35 and 25. So definitely advantage to the Islanders, goals for, goals against, even the power play. Eileen, what's the number here? Are they a favorite, the Islanders? Or the Islanders?
No, they are, at least they were. No, they're a slight dog.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to say dog. I'm talking so fast. I lean towards the Islanders, if anything, here. I'm going to play, though, Jimmy. Humming and hawing, no goal. First 10 minutes here. It's plus 120. I know you guys love the old no goal first 10 minutes, the old Gogster classic. I think we got one here, Jim. And the Nashville team total under 2.5. Lean towards the Islanders.
And you are on for no goal first 10 minutes plus 120.
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
All right, and I'm on under 6 at minus 120. Let's move on. Next up for us, 8 p.m. Eastern, Washington Capitals, 7-9-2, 2-6-1 on the road. I'm on their team total under 93.5, I think I got, and I'm also on them not to make the playoffs at plus 120, and they're doing just that for me so far, but I did the same bets with the Bruins. So St. Louis Blues, 6-8-0, 2-4-0 at home, Enterprise Center in St. Louis. Kemper versus Greiss. Greiss has looked awful so far this year, 3.78 goals against average, 8.99 save percentage. Kemper, I do not expect him to have good numbers. 2.73 goals against average, 9.11 save percentage, I think is where he'll be around this year. Washington power play 18.8%, penalty killing 79.3%. St. Louis power play at 20.5%, penalty killing at 71.9%. With Washington, they got back Carlson, and he helped enormously. They're still missing Orlov, who could come back tonight. Hagelin, Oshie, Wilson, Backstrom all out. Oshie expected to be back by the end of the week. We'll see if that happens. Justin McElvey moving on the Penguins money line and the Blue Jackets. There's only looks for McElvey today. Here, Washington comes in off their second straight loss to start this road trip, 5-2 at Florida on Tuesday night. Mm-hmm. If I would bet on Washington. I would. I love the idea of a team going out on the road and losing their first 2 games, moving on to their third game in the road trip and being laser focused. I just don't like this hockey team. And the Blues are on the second half of a back-to-back. If we look at the line history here, the Capitals open up plus 107. They're now minus 105. I completely get why they are. This total 6.5, open up minus 116 to the under, now minus 112 to the under. I'd like to bet the Capitals. I just don't know if I'm capable of it. 60% of the tickets, 89% of cash just come in on the Capitals. They're the play. They're the play. They have to be the play here.
You're talking, yeah. Well, here's an angle for you, Jim. How about this? How about Washington first period?
No, because I want the tired legs of the Blues. I want to be fading them in the third period. I don't mind. I don't mind teams on the second half of back-to-back in first period. In fact, if they lose, I often bet them. It doesn't always work for me because I was on the Buffalo Sabres first period last night in a similar situation and that fell apart. But
I'm thinking another play might be here. It might be both teams to score in the first period here. St. Louis, I think they'll be fine first period there. Washington coming pissed off here. You got Greiss. As the game goes on, I agree with Washington. Got a lot of hands going on right now. But I think sneaky. I don't have anything on this game, but maybe a both teams to score in Uno period.
I have to bet the Capitals. I have to.
Full game?
I must. Yeah, I must. I hate doing it, but I must.
It's a must. Whenever you hear a bet's a must, then don't question.
I don't. But I would have already bet it if I thought it was a slam dunk or anything like that. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to move on the Capitals. I just have to. I have to fade Greiss. I have to believe that this hockey team will be better after losing the first 2 games against much tougher hockey teams. And then the Blues here on this winning streak back home after playing last night and winning again against weak competition. This is not something I'm really confident in.
I think that's a well-capped game. I agree. I completely see what you're saying, Jim, and your angles you got going on. I'm in agreement there with Washington. What do you think about St. Louis team total under, like a 2.5 or up to 3?
I mean, I don't dislike it, and God, maybe the market's saying that we do get Orlov back. I don't like it, or sorry, I don't dislike it. Let me just. I'd have to see it here. Was this going to be on in addition to your Capitals action?
It's not. It's not. Just if everyone in the chat here trying to give them a play here. St. Louis maybe a team total under. I don't mind even if having Orlov back. Then you got to love it. I'm not seeing any updates from their beat writers here. 2 of the ones I usually look at.
Under 3s even money.
Under 3s even money for St. Louis.
Yeah. What up, Rayhan? We're going to be in the NBA here shortly. Great having you in the chat. We got to keep moving, though, Gogster. We got to keep moving.
Give me that. Yeah, I'm taking that under 3. I'm adding that. Team total under. That's just too juicy. 4's got to beat me. No.
Yeah, I like this look as well.
I'm gonna take that. It's an addition.
I don't want to double up on the game, and I'm not going to double up on the game. But I do. I think this bet makes sense. Let's quickly move over and see what will give you a better line here. Go over to Pinnacle, and
Rocco's saying we could see Lindgren, which Charlie's between both these 2 goalies. I don't mind either or. Charlie's had some rest too. Yeah.
So you're getting a minus 155.
This is his old team too. He played against this was his AHL team, Charlie Lindgren. He's now on Washington, but he was a Springfield Thunderbird for a long time. So he's going up against his former team. Possibly here.
Yeah, I'd be happy with Lindgren. I'm just happy with the spot. Gogster Blues team total under 3 at minus 102, and I'm on the Capitals. All right, let's roll on. Next up, Anaheim Ducks at Winnipeg Jets. Anaheim Ducks 5-10-1, 2-6-1. Jets 9-4-1, 5-1-0. Von Polo, I'm sorry to hear that, my man. I'll reach out after the show and see how you're holding up. But I'm sorry to hear that. And look, happens. It just happens. Happened to Brady. Happens. Just happens. And, we can build back. And, it's it just happens. Something happens in life, and you have a strong character that can build back from it. And that's what you have to do and focus on. But I'll reach out. And I'm sorry to hear that that's going on right now for you. Let's move on. 8 p.m. Eastern, Ducks, Jets, Canada Life Center in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I moved on 2 different spots here. 2 different spots. The Ducks snapped their 3-game losing streak with a 3-2 overtime win at home over the Wings on Wednesday. A couple things happened. One, they played much stronger defensively, and Gibson played very well. Is he going to be able to continue doing this? Look, I don't know. But he's a young goaltender. We think he's so old. He's not old. And the Ducks are much better than their record indicates, in my estimation. So this opened up with the Ducks plus 175. That's where they stand right now. This market's not moving towards the Jets. This total opened up at 6. It got up to 6.5 a couple times. I missed that. But I moved it to 6.5.
Took the under.
I took the under. I also took Ducks first period at plus 145. The Jets coming on off their 4th win in 5 games. They haven't played since Sunday. Look, I know that Bonus is a tough coach, and he'll get them, he'll be ready.
He's a beauty.
But in saying that, that's exactly what I bet this morning, Rocco Rogers. So, and Jeffrey Blue and Sharpie, a lot of people reaching back out to Von Polo saying great things.
Yeah, Vaughn, he's been a long time low bagger here, Vaughn. We all go ups and downs. It's like a family here. So, send the love.
Spenny saying Helly's going to shut down Anaheim. Well, that's fine. If they do, that's fine. I got the under 6.5. I'm also on the Ducks first period, and it's a spot that I really believe in. I think the Ducks are a team that now look, we saw what it takes for a team to be really good in the NHL, and it takes like 2 years of these very high draft picks stepping up. Right, with the Devils, it doesn't happen right away, and the Ducks' time is probably the 2023, 24 or 24, 25. I don't know, but here I think they're going to be better, and they're going to give us an opportunity to bet on them as the season goes on. Right now, they have 47% of the cash on only 18% of the money line tickets. And I think it makes sense to me now. You know, a lot of pros aren't going to bet a team at minus 200, obviously. 74% of tickets, 95% cash on the over, and it's not moving towards the over. So I'm in. Ducks first period, under 6.5. What are you doing here, Gogster?
Anaheim, Winnipeg. I'll go to the goalies here right away. Gibson has not looked good, Jimmy. He's my age, actually. He's a 93 cat. He's just out of Pittsburgh, too. He's had a rough go. American goalie, 67th right now in the league, pretty much dead last, minus 6.49 goals saved above expected. You're going up against the second best goalie here. And I didn't know this about Connor Hellebuck. I've been just watching him. He's been looked a lot better. All you Winnipeg fans probably in agreement here. He's second best in the league with a 10.56 goals saved above expected. This guy's keeping him in game. Like that's a sign. That's a goalie you need against just tough hockey teams. And to be honest, I don't think Anaheim's that tough to play against. If anything, I don't want to say it, but a bit on the softer side right now, especially losing Getzlaf. Lost Delorier, too. That was another tough guy they had. But Winnipeg here, Jim, 6 of the last 7 have gone under the total for Winnipeg. So and you got the 6.5. I'm pretty high on that. Where I'm going to look, though, it's a bit of juice here. Where was it? Anaheim team total under 2.5, minus 125. I don't see Anaheim. I think Hellebuck's going to shut him down. I don't see Anaheim. Only worry I would have here, Jamie, would be as if the score is like 5-1, as if Winnipeg just goes nuts, which I don't see that happening. I really don't. You know, like you said, coming off a long break, two back-to-back road trips out west. This just smells like an under. And the team total under is minus 125. Not too much juice. I know we don't like taking a dog to a favorite, but I think I don't see Anaheim scoring much here. Under 2.5.
Slatsy says Ducks give up an average of 40 shots a game, grab Jet player shots on goal. I am lefty Oliver Page. I am on the Ducks first period of plus 145 and under 6.5. I'm hoping that the Jets not playing since Sunday maybe have them a little lethargic, but it was a big win the Ducks just had. And see their 10.9% power play. It doesn't make sense. They do have a lot of skilled players, and I expect that to go up. They took Mason McTavish off the top lines, and they weren't giving him power play time. Mm-hmm. They gave him power play time in this last game. He opened the scoring on the power play. Still playing them on the third and fourth lines, but I expect this power play to improve. Slatsy saying Ducks giving up an average of 40 shots a game, grab Jet players' shots on goal.
And I'd even look Kyle Connor there, even a goal scorer. That he's got one of the quickest releases in hockey.
We've got to speed up here. We do have a tight time limit on the full show because we have the Cappers contest show at 2 p.m. Eastern. Next up for us, Rangers, Kraken, Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle, Washington, Shesterkin versus Jones. Shesterkin 8-2-2, 2.40 goals against average, 915 save percentage. Martin Jones 7-4-2, 2.38 goals against average, 909 save percentage. And Rangers power play at 23%, penalty killing at 81.5%. Seattle power play 23.6%, penalty killing at 75.9%. Kraken coming off their second straight loss, 3-2 in overtime at home versus Winnipeg. Rangers coming off their second win in the last 3, 4-1 win at home over Arizona, and now they fly all the way across the continent. This is not a time where I want the Rangers, and I think Seattle's overvalued right now, and I would like to fade them as much as possible. So you put those together, and I really can't move on it. Rangers opened up minus 127. They're now minus 130. Total-wise, this opened up at 6, minus 117 to the under, being a 1 cent move to the under. And cash-wise here in this one, you have 26% of tickets, 42% of the cash on Seattle, but market not moving towards them. And 55% of tickets, 93% cash on the under. Market not really moving there. Take it away for us here, Rangers, Kraken.
Oh, Kraken are a pissed off team. They've had now last two games at home, guys. Lost 3-2 to Winnipeg, lost 1-0 to Minnesota. This has been a team that's just not generating many shots. 27 shots on net, last 10 games on average. Now they're only allowing 27 as well. Same with the Rangers. Both of these teams are defensively, they're actually surprisingly, Seattle's been looking a lot better. Seattle's also gone, 4-0-1, 1 push, 4 unders in their last 5 games. Rangers, on the other hand, last 2 games have gone under. I don't think we're going to see as many goals. I don't have a play on this game, guys, but more I'm thinking about, I don't think we're going to see as many goals. It's going to be tough for Seattle to break this, the Rangers D. I don't care what you say. I still think the Rangers D and Shesterkin are top 5, top 10 in the league. So Seattle's not really scoring right now, not generating many shots, not the team that you're going to generate many shots against in the Rangers. So I'd have to look under, maybe even a no goal first 10. I'm not going to add it, but that's where I would look. I don't think there's going to be. Jones has looked actually okay too, Jimmy. 26th in the league, 1.23 goals saved above expected. Shesterkin's 12th with a 3.15. Alexiak's out for Seattle D. That's an important defenseman to miss. And Krasvedov questionable for the Rangers.
I'm off the spot. It's tricky. We have 2 games left on the board. This is a game where I pulled back a little bit. I almost just bet a little bit of less money on it, but I was like, God, this is supposed to be fun. And I'll tell you, so Golden Knights come in off of 2 straight home losses. And this was the best team in the Western Conference. The last loss, 5-2 at home to the Sharks on Tuesday night, has been sitting with them for 48 hours. The Coyotes, are not a good hockey team. They've got a good goaltender, and they've got a great power play at 29.6%. But you can't bet on the Golden Knights, obviously, at this number, right? So, but this is an angry Golden Knights team, and I bet first period minus a half at even money, and was shocked that I could get it at even money. I mean, that's just, doesn't make sense. And I came so close. My plan was to bet the first 10 minutes minus a half at plus 165.
Wow, confident.
But I just know I couldn't do it. I can't sit there with $400 and have the first 10 minutes of the game be like the most important. It doesn't make sense to me. And then I thought, okay, I could bet 150 on each. And I was like, no, just stop. And I bet first period minus a half plus 100 with 1 unit. And we'll go from there. I expect them to fire out angry hockey team. In saying that, what else can you do? How else can you bet this game? It was the only way I figured I could bet this game. And I was even surprised I could get them to be ahead after the first period with no vig. So that's the situation here in Vegas. Vegas opening up at minus 378. They're now minus 380. Why would it move? From a total perspective, it opened up at 6.5 minus 110 to the under. It's now minus 115 to the under. When you want to beat Arizona soundly, you really need a strong penalty kill. Vegas doesn't have that. Cheshire Cat says you could bet Yotes team total over. Look, Yotes you don't want to fade the Yotes. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense to fade the Blackhawks, but then it worked last night. Take it away for us, Gogster. We got to be quick here. Coyotes, Knights.
All right, I'll be quick. So you don't want to be fading, I think, the Vegas anytime they're coming off 2 losses here. If I'm not, they're coming off those 2 losses to the Rangers that's Arizona. Coming off 2 losses to San Jose and St. Louis. I don't see Arizona anything being easy for them in the first period. I'm in agreement with you, Jimmy, with Vegas. I'm going to go a little bit different here, maybe a little bit farther. I'm going to go with Arizona under first period, 0.5. So pretty much Arizona not to score in the first period. Just Vegas guys with Logan Thompson. I know they've lost their last 2, but it's a much better hockey team. Decor's, I think, top 5 in the league, to be honest. Can generate a lot of offense too. Arizona, Vejmelka, he's 24th in the league, goals saved above expected. Thompson's 8th, rookie too. 5.40 goals saved above expected. I see Thompson shutting down Arizona early here. And I even see Vegas winning this game comfortably. I don't want to take the full game under 2.5, Jim. It's minus 180, but the first period, no goal for Arizona is minus 120 is the best I've found. If anyone in the chat's got better, I'd love to hear it, but I don't see Arizona scoring in the first period.
All right. Travis Harley saying Connor Ingram can start. It doesn't matter to me who starts. This is a very angry squad that's going to just fire out early, and it's the only way I could get them. Let's go. Last game on the card before we get into NFL. Detroit Red Wings and San Jose Sharks. I moved on the Detroit Red Wings. Those of you guys who bet hockey and have stuck with me in hockey know that this is the perfect opportunity for me to fade a team. Sharks come off their 3rd straight win on the road. They win that 3rd straight in Vegas on Tuesday night. And that's just perfect. Absolutely perfect, because this Sharks team can win all they want on the road. When do we want to fade the Sharks? We want to fade the Sharks when they're a favorite, which is going to be very rare, but it happens here. Yeah. And you want to fade them at home. The Sharks have played 9 games at home at the SAP Center and won once in regulation. Once. And now they're the favorite? This is a joke. Husso and the Red Wings coming off their 4th straight loss, 3-2 in overtime in Anaheim. No travel. Oh, I guess no travel is not true. I mean, this is short plane right up to San Jose. But slight travel, losing in overtime, losing 4 straight, angry group. San Jose feeling good about themselves. leaving. Did they not party Tuesday night after their third straight win in Vegas? I don't know what they did, but I have an advantage in every spot, except maybe at center. But at every spot on this card, and I confidently took the Red Wings at plus 105. I thought there was a reason why that number was so low, and it's still 105. I want to bet it now. Take it away for us. Last game on the card. We got to be tight.
Yeah, getting Bertuzzi back too, Jim. I was all over this team against Anaheim. I said, guys, on the show on Tuesday, love them first period, full game. And first period, they were up. McTavish scores at the end, and then somehow they lose 3-2 against Anaheim. Just absolutely couldn't believe it. But second game back for Bertuzzi in this squad, Jimmy. I'm in agreement. I have down team total over 2.5. It's minus 134. I'm going to axe that. And I kind of want to take a double up first period and full game again, Jimmy, to be honest. Second game back for Bertuzzi. I expect if you got your heart, not your heart and soul, but your top player, your goal scorer on your hockey team, didn't really produce in the first game, lost the hockey game. Second game back, bounce back for Husso too. They're missing one of their bigger pieces too. Not bigger pieces, but literally, yeah, he's a big 6'8" guy, Soderblom, left winger. He's out. So other than that, we got an advantage in goaltending with Husso, Jimmy. Lost 4 in a row to Detroit. You got to think they're going to do what they want here coming off of Fat and Happy. So I'm going to double up. I'm going to take first period and I'm going to take full game, guys.
Well, you got first period at plus 106.
Okay, I like it.
And full game at plus 110. All right, let's review all action here. 5 bets I made before the show started. Looks like I'm going to add 2, possibly 3. Gogster's on the first period under 1.5, plus 125, and Flyers Bruins. He's on the first period under 1.5 in Avalanche Carolina. I'm moving on the Hurricanes minus 1. Gogster's on the Habs first period minus 103 and full game minus 101. I'm off that game, but I get it. Stars Panthers. Wedgwood will be in goal now for the Stars. Interesting. Gogster's got both teams to score in the first period in Calgary, Tampa. I have interest in this over 6.5 in New Jersey, Toronto. And I think I'll move on it.
I see goals
too. I think I'll move on it. Gogster's on the Pens first period and full game. I've decided to add the Penguins full game.
I like that.
I moved on Nashville Islanders under 6 at minus 120 is the first bet I made today, confidently. Gogster's on no goal first 10 minutes in that game. Gogster's on the Blues team total under 3. I'm going to hold my nose and bet the Capitals. I do not want to do that, but I have to. Ducks first period at plus 145 and the under 6.5 for me. Gogster's on the team total under 2.5 for the Ducks. I think
I'm on the Ducks first period under 0.5.
Not team total under 2.5.
No, just the first period under 0.5. So no goal in the first period for
0.5. Okay, what is the juice on that one here? Let me grab
or no, Jimmy, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm thinking of Arizona. You're right. I'm wrong.
Okay, so team total under 2.5 minus 125. Okay, let's move on. Then Rangers, Kraken, we stayed off. I'm on Vegas first period minus 0.5 at plus 100, and I told you I came very close to that first 10 minutes at plus 165. Look, if we were just giving out plays for a record, I would put that play out on my record, but I'm not going to bet it. And I even thought about betting it at 150 each, and I was like, I can't. It's going to be too stressful, too fucking stressful. Arizona under 0.5 first period at minus 106. Then Gogster, it's funny because hockey is just such a sport I play all my life. The first period bets in hockey, I have so much trouble with it. I hate them. My anxiety's going crazy. I'm sweating buckets. I'm just walking back and forth, drinking. In basketball, because I don't have this connection with it, I can bet first quarters and relax and watch. It's wild. Gogster's on the Wings first period plus 106, full game plus 110. I took the Wings full game plus 105. That is your NHL breakdown. And let's get it. Let's fucking get it. We move on to NFL. NFL and Mr. Gogster is now swept the card in back-to-back Thursday nights. 6-0 over the last 2. We had our guy Ryan Mueller. Ryan Mueller's in the chat. Ryan Mueller parlayed your 3 bets on last week's show and cashed a nice juicy parlay with it. So Gogster, stakes are high. Let's keep that cash coming in. 8:15 p.m. Eastern, and our guy Connor Mack will be hosting a live bet stream of this game. And finally, we have a great Thursday nighter. Titans Packers. Oof. I moved on 2 bets. I moved on 2 bets. Canadian Capper says first period is more often the opposite of what makes sense. And he says you stop betting first periods altogether. Yeah, just do what works. That's why we.
Can I be quick here? Can I be quick? So, like, lost 4 games. You got a team that's won 3 coming at home. If Detroit's gonna do it, like, it's gonna get on them early and just don't look back, kind of thing. And I think they're the better hockey team too. They're the better hockey team. They got Bertuzzi back too. They're gonna want to get him involved early.
Oh, I get it. I do nothing. I like your play there. I get it. Let's talk about the Packers here. Sammy Comer thinking about moving on the Packers to win by 1-6 at plus 270. Billy Friedrich says Packers have won 1 game this season by more than 3 points. All right. I moved on 2 spots here. I moved on the over 41, and so did Andy. On Tuesday night. We both moved on the over 41. And then after I made the bets, I was sitting there for 45 minutes and I was like, I got to bet the Packers too. So I bet the Packers -3, -120, about an hour after I put in all my action. So let's take a look at the line history and then talk about the injuries. Set a quick table for Mr. Gogster, who is 6-0 over his last 2 Thursday nights, and it's all being prop action for Mr. Gogster. First off, we know as soon as the Titans came out with their Vrabel told us who exactly was going to be out of the lineup, even though we expected it all, the market moved quickly in Green Bay's direction. And it was moving there Tuesday night. I got -120. When I woke up, it was -125. Now we have 3.5s on the board. And this 3.5 was not juiced at all at first. That was this morning at 10:30. It was -110 plus 3.5 for Tennessee. Now it's -115 for Tennessee. I could understand. Tennessee's a really good football team. I could understand anybody wanting them at 3.5, and I'll discuss why I'm not on them. And I love this team. They're 7-2 against the spread this year. I think the Titans play with a ton of heart, and they're very good. This total opened up at 40.5, and it's now at 41, so it's gone up a half point. There hasn't been a ton of movement there. From the ticket standpoint, we have 50,198 tickets in. 45% of the tickets, 53% of cash on Green Bay. So no real help there. No real sharp money in any direction. On the total, you have 60% of tickets and 94% of cash on the under. It was fascinating to me. Those were the same numbers basically on Tuesday. It was fascinating to me. By the way, it looks like our guy, DJ Big Boss, has to go in for tests this morning. He did a phone call interview. He's still going to try to make it back, but it looks like he will not be back. The doctors want to do some tests after the phone call interview. But we will cap not best bets on Saturday, but we will cap the Thursday, the night of the game tonight, SMU, Tulane. We'll cap it in full. I've completely broken that down. And then we'll have Bedlam cap by Jose. So that will still go on. But they want DJ to come in for tests. And he was on our show yesterday, and you know how much love we have for him. So health first and no pressure for DJ to make it back in time. Okay, back to this spot here. There was 94% of cash on the under on Tuesday. Nothing's changed. People are betting the under, and the books are saying, we'll take it. We don't care. Bet as much as you want on the under. Pimp slot play of the day is on the over 41. Love seeing that shit, Mike.
Hey.
Love seeing that shit. Okay, so 25 Fahrenheit, cloudy, 9 miles per hour. The winds died down a little bit. Tuesday looked like 11 or 12 miles per hour. These are the starters that have been ruled out for the Tennessee Titans. Their center, Ben Jones, with concussion. Safety, Amani Hooker with a shoulder injury. Kicker, Randy Bullock with a right calf injury. They have signed Josh Lambo to handle kicking duties. They just signed him. Then outside linebacker, Bud Dupree, be dealing with a hip injury all year. He is out. Their backup safety, Lonnie Johnson, is out with a hamstring injury, ruled out. Then Jeffrey Simmons and Elijah Molden. So there's 2 starters right there are questionable. Simmons with the ankle injury, Molden with the groin injury. Mm-hmm. So this fantastic defense is beaten up. And you want to know what other defense is beaten up? The Green Bay Packers defense. Devondre Campbell out. Now also Romeo Dubs is out. Dave Bakhtiari and Elgin Jenkins are both listed as questionable. They didn't practice at all this week. Will they be in the lineup? Will they be able to play 70% of the snaps? Those are questions. Look, the Titans have been excellent. Tannehill returned from ankle injury. He looked very strong. He ran the ball. He looked strong. Nick Westbrook-Akine had 119 yards passing. Robert Woods still does nothing. Derrick Henry was slowed to 53 yards. We know what he does. He bounces back in a monster way. And where can you attack this defense of the Packers is on the ground. This Packers defense allows 140.6 rush yards per game. I think the Titans are going to be able to score. I think the Packers are going to be able to score. Billy Friedrich, it doesn't have to be a shootout. Doesn't have to be when the total's at 41. Doesn't have to be.
Pretty low, yeah.
So let's hear Sharpie first, and then we'll hand it over. DC Capper is on the under. Our guy KD is on the under. And 94% of cash has been bet on the under. And it's not just the 94% of cash, but 60% of tickets. So public's on the under, and the big bets are on the under. And the gusts up to 18-mile-per-hour winds. Sharpie says 4 times since 2020, Henry's been held under 61 yards. Henry averages 173 yards and 2 touchdowns with at least 1 touchdown in every game. Green Bay's already 26 versus the rush. Biggest bet is over 22.5 rush attempts.
Love it.
For Sharpie. All right, let's hand the ball to our guy, Mr. Gogster, going for his 3rd straight board sweep on Thursday nights. The floor is yours.
All right, guys. Completely agree with our guy Sharpie here. How doesn't Henry just eat? I don't see how he doesn't just eat. And going over the injuries quickly there for the Titans, the linebackers they do have out. Bud Dupree, he's 5 tackles, 3 assists. Elijah Molden, I have 2 tackles, 1 assist. Dylan Cole, Denico Autry, sorry, butchering these names, and Roger McCreary. Those are their 3 guys who get the most amount of tackles. Those are their 3 main guys. Now the Packers, them missing Gray, I believe it is. He's one of their key linebackers. So I think they already got a bad rushing defense. And like you said, he's coming off 63 yards against my Broncos. You got a much easier team. I don't like their line either for the Packers. I think it's pretty weak. So really what I'm getting to, guys, is I think Henry's he's gonna get 100 rushing yards. He needs 99.5. That's the new number I found here just before the show. So 99.5, Jimmy. It's minus 115, I believe it was. What was it? Minus 110, or no, minus 120. Derrick Henry over 99.5. Looking at what he's done real quickly here. Green Bay's rush defense. Tony Pollard, 115. Jamal Williams had 81. Brian Robinson had 73. Singletary had 67. Brian Hall, or not Brian Hall, I think I'm butchering his first name there, but B. Hall for the Jets, 116. Now, the 2 games that Green Bay played at home, the opposite teams ran the ball a shit ton. 20 rushing attempts for Hall, 116, and then Pollard last week, 22 rush attempts, 115. So you got cold weather too, 21 Fahrenheit. That's below freezing. It's going to be windy too. I don't see there being a lot of passing, kind of like what our guy Dami was saying. So I'm going to double this up. If they're going to run the ball, if they want to be effective, I think they need to do some play action with Austin Hooper. And Austin Hooper, guys, his last few games, 41 against Denver, 34 against KC, 56 against Indy. And the opponent's tight ends for Green Bay, Schultz had 54 last week. Rogers here for Washington had 28. Mitchell and Knox didn't have as many, but when they did go to them, they were 3 for 3, 2 for 3. I think Hooper's going to be involved, short and sweet, guys. And he only needs to get us 22.5, Jimmy. It went down. I got 22.5 at a book. Receiving yards for Austin Hooper, minus 114. I really like that one. Austin Hooper, guys, over 22 receiving yards. Derrick Henry, over 99.5 rushing yards. And then I think I'm going to do a teaser. It's between doing a teaser, guys, with Tennessee plus 7.5 and the under, Jimmy. I'm thinking of pushing it up to 49.5 at minus 110. That's a same game parlay. Tennessee plus 7.5, the under 49.5. I think the more they run the ball too, Jimmy, we know the clock's going to be used up a lot. You're not going to have as much time compared to if you got teams that throw the ball. Bad rushing defense. That's the only thing is if Tennessee's rush defense too, guys, they're unbelievable. So I don't think Aaron Jones is gonna run wild. I think they've held every single rusher for the Titans to under 75 yards since week 1. That was Barkley who ran over 100 yards on them. But since then, Tennessee's rush defense has begun, and I think with those, they still have their main three linebackers, Jimmy. I don't see Green Bay getting many points. My other play was going to be Green Bay team total under 22.5. But it kind of goes against some people in the chat too. But I think Tennessee's defense is for real. And Green Bay, they could have, I was reading, oh God, slipping my mind here. What's his name? Wide receiver, Randall Cobb. He could return after being out for a while. So that could be another weapon for Rodgers. So I'm not going to take the under Green Bay team total 22.5. I'm going to stick with the under 49.5. Tennessee plus 7.5. Jimmy, that's minus 110. 3 plays.
Tennessee plus 7.5 and the under 47.5.
49.5.
49.5. Tennessee plus 7.5, under 49.5 gives you a minus 110.
That's correct. That's the same game parlay. Most books have them now.
They do. Hooper over 22.5 receiving yards was with what juice?
That was minus 114.
Minus 114. And Henry over 99.5 rush yards was with what juice?
Minus 120.
Minus 120.
You guys want to know what books though? That's with Bet Rivers. Those props.
Sammy Comer says, "Is it true LaFleur has been sleeping at the Packers practice facility?" I tell you what, the only guy who's watching 3 hours of tennis every night is Staley. Every other coach is living, breathing only football, and that's why Andy Reid's sons are so fucked up. It's just Staley. Staley's the only guy who has time for fucking 3 hours of tennis matches. Even when I was doing the Kentucky Derby videos down at SBR, I would sleep there because I didn't have time. I didn't have time to go. I didn't have time. I would just stay there and sleep there and work there and eat there and fucking
live there, bro.
And LaFleur better do something because this team is not as good this year. I love it. I love all of this from everybody. A lot of interesting questions here in the chat. Mike M also looking at Aaron Jones over 56.5 rushing yards. But to answer Alex Gagnon, nobody, the fact that, you got Dom Ricci, Andy Molitor, myself, all on the over 41. This is not about saying the Titans defense is bad. They're very good. Their third down ability to shut down opponents on third down is the best in the league. Now, also, one thing that really helps us, too, for the over is their red zone offense is the best in the league. And then people don't think of that when you think about the Titans, but they have the best red zone offense in the league. Yeah. But for me, it's just that this defense has been through wars. They went into Kansas City and were on the field all game, bent but didn't break. Then they play the Broncos in a slugfest, and now they got to go to Lambeau 4 or 5 days later. I mean, they've been so good. So good. And I want to bet the Titans, when we get to the playoffs. I'd like to be on the Titans. But here, I just think we're asking too much.
You make some good points, and they're really coming off that momentum, Green Bay, that 31-28 comeback. When that was their first home game after 3 road games, which they did not look good. So this is their second home game back too. But talking about Denver, we don't give many teams any fits. Our O-line shit. Our receivers are all banged up. Justin Simmons doesn't play half the time anymore. I don't consider Denver really a tough team to play against, but that game against Kansas City, that was a battle and a half. They've gone under 2 guys, 2, 4, 6. The last 6 games for Tennessee have all gone under. I just only way I think this game goes over is if Henry's running and doing whatever he wants. They can't stop anything. And Green Bay is using what was number 7? I can't remember his name there, but he had 3 touchdowns for Green Bay last week. They get Lazard involved. Sorry, Jimmy?
Watson.
Watson. Yeah, they get him involved. They get Lazard. And if Randall Cobb comes back, then you start using Jones. That would be my only worry, is that they run the ball with Henry, and then Green Bay, Rodgers starts feeling himself, because running the ball in Tennessee, it's been proven it's not easy. So
I honestly am not concerned. I'm not concerned. So much so that I should probably jump on the live stream. It's just I got so much shit to prepare for the Friday show. I just shouldn't start.
I might even try and jump on. I'm not working today, so I might.
I love this bet. And I'm really excited. Let's review all action here before we get into NBA and then college basketball. Reviewing all action. Sharpie. By the way, Sharpie's saying the reason why it's money to be made in tennis. That's what that means. When do we add tennis to the show? Well, now we have someone who can come on the show and give us those looks. So Sharpie, be ready for Grand Slams to come on and give us your looks, man. Maybe. All right, let's go here. So Sharpie gave us Henry over 22.5 rush attempts. Gogster gave us Henry over 99.5 rush yards. Andy Molitor, myself, Dom Ricci, and Mike M's Pimp Slap play of the day is all on the over 41. 60% of the tickets, 94% of cash on the under. Then Gogster gave us Hooper over 22.5 receiving yards, and he gave us a same game parlay, Tennessee plus 7.5 and the under 49.5. And then Mike M added a prop special for us, and that was Aaron Rodgers over 3.5 rush yards. We need to hope that the kneel downs don't get you right in ye old prison pocket, because that's a nightmare scenario.
What's the over under on Rodgers barking to LaFleur tonight? I say 2.5 easy. I love you.
Razor. No one's saying the Packers are a good football team. So I don't see anybody saying Packers are going to get hot. Packers are good. Packers are, no one's saying that. No one. I'm not saying that. I don't see anybody saying that. I just think that I can't imagine the Titans taking all of this and still being able to succeed. I just think we're asking for too much.
It's going to be freaking cold. It's going to be 21 too, guys. It's not going to be nice. It's not like, easy, just, let's see that, get sit back in the pocket, nice warm Miami weather. It's going to be freaking cold. It's going to be cold.
This game is going to be really, really fun. Finally, we have a great Thursday night, and watch it right here on our live stream. It's going to be fun. Saturated jumping on the over. And Sammy Comer says Titans should regress. I want in on the Titans come playoff time. I think they're a really good football team. Well coached, quality football team. All right, that is the NFL. Gogster, you were excellent. Thank you so much for joining us. NHL and NFL. Gogster going to trying to get to 9-0 over the last 3 Thursday nighters.
One can only hope, Jimmy. It's a pleasure as always, brother, coming on with you. It's a privilege, actually, coming on with Pub Sports Radio. It's only growing, guys. Tune in later tonight. Connor Mack, we'll have the live stream going for the betcast on this Thursday night football game. Golf, guys. I'm the golf guy here. We'll be back in January, myself and Connor Mack as well. Till then, Jimmy, be good, buddy. Cash some tickets, and we'll see you next week.
Much love, man. Great stuff from Mr. Gogster. We get into NBA, and I got absolutely killed. The Rockets went from 9 to 5 up to 6.5, and I still didn't move on them. I got destroyed. This happens at times, and you just got to dig deep and trust yourself. And that's what I'm going to do here. We have complete honesty and transparency in the show, and sometimes it's very embarrassing, and this is one of them. I went 0-5 yesterday, down 5.55 units. Would have had a nice or decent winning day. Instead, I took it right in the bottom mouth, and now my record is atrocious, and it will be up on the screen here shortly. 19-30, 38.8%, down 13.95 units. ROI minus 28.47%. Average line minus 110. Just 3 games on the card, all starting at 10 p.m. Pacific. And last year I went down 23.5 units, and we finished up 17 by the end of the year. So I just got to admit that I'm losing, and it's ugly, and I'm going to keep fighting. And I apologize to anybody who joined me on the Warriors last night. It was just atrocious. And Saturated says Bulls puked that first quarter play. It was just a lot of ugliness. So, but that's the situation. Let's move on right now to NBA, and we've got a couple parlays to get us started here. We got a parlay from our Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly's given us a parlay: Portland, Sacramento, and the Clippers at plus 190 from our guy Dan Kelly. Dan Kelly says, home faves, keep it simple. Sammy Culmer has also given us a parlay. It's Kings Blazers money line parlay. He's on the Blazers -2.5, and he's got 2 units on the upstart Sacramento Kings -2.5. Let's get to work. All 3 games start at 10 p.m. Eastern. Brooklyn Nets 6-9, 3-5 on the road. Portland Trailblazers 10-4, 4-2 at home. Moda Center in Portland, Oregon. Brooklyn 2-3 over their past 5, playing at a pace of 98.20 possessions a game. Portland 4-1, and Francouz in for the net for the Avs. Interesting. I wish I'd already bet the Hurricanes. Fuck, that hurts. Res Mob says he's riding that Hawks first quarter the rest of the season. Portland 4-1, 94.70 possessions over their last 5 games. Ski Prophet says, I disagree with the line move. I'm liking the under. Looking at the pace of play from these 2 teams over the last 5, I think that Ski is definitely onto something. And also, the Nets getting embarrassed for 153 points by the Kings on Tuesday night. You have to think that they play a little stronger defense. And the Blazers haven't allowed any team to score 120 points so far. Let's take a look at the line history here in the first game on the board. The Brooklyn Nets at Portland Trail Blazers. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong one. Sorry, let me just grab this. Here we go. Line history-wise, we have Brooklyn opening up at +1.5. They're now +2. They got up to +2.5. It's shocking to me that Portland would be such a small favorite. Total-wise, it opened up at 220, and it did initially go all the way down to 219.5. This buyback on the over has happened just recently. There was a 1.5 move to the over at 11:05 a.m. this morning. It had been bet to the under. That's interesting. Let's take a look at the cash flow from Sports Insights and see if it all correlates. And move over here. Here we go. For this one, they've given slight line value to the Brooklyn Nets. It's funny because when you hear Durant talk, it feels like they're just giving up. And we'll see if that changes if Kyrie comes back. 6,342 tickets in. 79% of the tickets, 79% of the cash on the Blazers. Strange that the market wouldn't give this Blazer squad, 4-2 at home against a Brooklyn team that just looks lost. It's wild to me. Then you have 14% of the tickets on the under. Just 14% of the tickets. Public hammering the over, but 49% of the cash is on the under. Piker in the house, under 4-1 last 5 meetings. Taint play today is in. It's Bryant +7.5. Why would they put this at such a low number, knowing that they're just going to get this ton of... I don't want to overthink things, but it just is shocking to me that they would put it at this number when they know all they're going to get is Blazers money. I find that just wild. Let's just take a last look at the injury report for each team before it pops off. But the pace of play is so slow. Last 5 games from each of these teams. Obviously, there's a recency bias from the Nets allowing 153 points. And we see the public all over this over. The under is screaming at me as well, and I'm happy that we're getting the 222. Let's take a quick look at what we're dealing with Portland's injury report. And Nurkic questionable. Let's see what the last number report on Nurkic is. It's just listed as questionable. Played 15 minutes in his return from a groin injury. So you're going to see a lot of Eubanks if Nurk is not in. That's probably the biggest piece of the puzzle there. When we go over to Brooklyn, we have just a healthy group other than TJ Warren here. So I'm going to roll with the under. I get why anybody would want to back Portland as well, but I still can't quite understand why they would put the line at that number. And when they do that, I will not move on it. So under 222, if that's available. Let's just see what it is in my book here quickly. And it's 222.5. It's just climbing right now, and that's fine. So that's the spot there. Game number 1, I'm on the under 22.5 in Brooklyn, Portland at the Moda Center. Let's move on. Next up for us, 10 p.m. Eastern. San Antonio Spurs 6-9, 3-4 on the road at Sacramento Kings 7-6, 4-3 at home at the Golden One Center in Sacramento. Spurs pace has slowed way down. They're now playing at 98.74 possessions a game over their last 5, and the Kings playing up at 102.90 possessions a game. Spurs 1-4 over their past 5. Kings 4-1 over their past 5 as they're on that 4-game winning streak. Let's take a look at the line history in this one here. Sacramento at home to the Spurs. The Kings right now 10-3 against the spread in 13 games this year. Kings open up -7 at -102. They're now -7 at -106. No movement there. This total hasn't moved either. 237.5. Absolutely no movement at 237.5. Let's take a look at the cash flow for this one. 4,552 tickets in. You have 61% of tickets, 89% of cash on the Spurs, but not moving towards them. Stimmy OG is on the Spurs. Luchase Fox says best bet for me is the under 238 that he got last night. Wow. So then we take a look at the total. 60% of tickets, 86% of the cash on the over. And it's not moving. Sitting there at 237.5. It's down to 237 at Bet365. Wow. Sammy Comer said all over sack, says Spurs 3rd in 4 nights with a trip to LA this weekend. Kings blowout, in his opinion. Top Shelf says never laying 7 with the Kings. And Slow Jams Arsenal says Kings have been an over machine. And Millsy saying Kings have the best record in California. We the best. God did. All right. Spurs coming off their second straight loss, 117-110 at Portland on Tuesday night. The Spurs open 5-2. Now they've lost 7 of 8. Jakob Poeltl, 31 points, 14 boards in his last start. Kings coming off their 14th straight win, 153-120, or 4th straight win. I said 14th? Jesus. Look at that 14 rebounds. 4th straight win, 153-121 at home over Brooklyn on Tuesday night. They opened the season 0-4 and have completely turned it around. They've won 7 of 9. Davis goes for 31. They hit 60% of the field. They hit 23s. The season's highest point total this year in the NBA. The 4th highest in franchise history. 7 different players averaging double figures during this winning streak led by Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. And Luke Kennard is out at least 2 games. We'll look at that spot in a bit. I think that the pace is too slow for these teams to hit this wildly high number. I also think that, and this obviously didn't work for me last night, but it would have worked if I had just taken Thunder full game. Instead, I took them first quarter, but my belief was there's no way that the Wizards were going to have another shooting performance like the last one. And I also thought that maybe Beal would mess up their rhythm, and it could have been right. Cashman 19 saying, what did you think was going to happen to our starting lineup? Me, Edmund Sumner, Nick Claxton, Joe Harris, Royce O'Neal. And then he said, the only reason why you think that we're going to win is because of me. So with that being said, I agree on the under in this look. I agree on the under. I'm rolling with you guys on the under. I'm going to get 237, but I agree. I agree, especially with the fact that you have 60% of tickets, 86% cash on the over, and it's moving towards the under. So I like it. Ryan Mueller looking at Herter over 2.5 threes. Millsy says my Kings will lose today. Or he says my Kings will be loose today. I'm not sure. We're gonna need an edit. Are they gonna be loosey goose today? Or are they gonna lose today? There's a big difference. All right. Top Shelf says Spurs gonna play defense because of Pop. Dan Kelly says that Indy Sacramento trade healed Halliburton and Sabonis seems to be the rare good for both teams. Luchase Fox says the same story as Celtics Hawks last night. One team will score a bunch, the other won't. 226 was the total last night. Oh, Kings will take the L, says Millsy. All right, I'm in. I'm unders in both the first 2 games. Let's move on to the final game here. 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Detroit Pistons 3-12, winless on the road. 0-7 at the LA Clippers 8-7, 3-4 at home. We're at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles, California. Detroit 1-4 over their past 5, playing at the pace of 100.4 possessions a game, while the Clippers 3-2, playing at the pace of 98.7 possessions a game. Mark Tequila says, Jimmy, I've strictly been betting line movements in the NBA for 2 years now. Very profitable long term. There's more injury scratches than any other sport, and teams mailed in without their stars. Interesting. I always felt like they don't mail in that first game without their stars, but interesting. And he says Orlando, Dallas, great examples last night. It was all over Minnesota, Houston. Great job. Dan Kelly says Dwayne Casey on his retirement tour. He's got to be unhappy coaching a team with no defense when all he wants is defense. Let's take a look at the line history. Markel says backwood, this motherfucker. I think that we should cap it. Let's go. The Pistons open up at +10. They're now +9. From a total perspective, it opens up at 216. It's now 217. You know, it's wild that this is a 217. Now, obviously, shooting percentages, things of that nature. But this total with Pistons Clippers is 217. And if you combine the pace of the last 5 games between the Pistons Clippers together and the Spurs and Kings together, the Spurs and Kings are playing just 2 possessions a game faster combined. And their total is 21 points higher. And that's nuts. That's nuts. So let's take a look at the cash flow for the Pistons game. 1,450 tickets in, 55% of the tickets, 71% of the cash on the Pistons, and 59% of tickets, 55% of cash on the under. And Isaiah Stewart out is a big deal, and Cade out. Let's just quickly go over but Stewart being out is obviously Cade being out is a huge loss too, but Stewart being out is a big loss, even though they got Bagley back. So I guess that takes a little bit of the pain out, but Stewart is a big body, an important piece to the puzzle. And so no Cade, no Isaiah Stewart, and that hurts them. Ski Prophet says, interesting statue. He may keep me off the under in this game. It's wild. It's not just so wild that would be the case. I find that wild. Pistons coming off their 4 straight loss, 115-111 at home versus the Raptors on Monday night. They lose Stewart, 12 points, 9.3 rebounds a game, and he's doing that in just 27.1 minutes. Marvin Bagley comes into the starting lineup. Casey, of course, wanting to go with the 2 bigs, moving Sadiq Bey to off the bench, but not going to be able to do that now. Clippers coming off their second loss in 3 games, 1-3, 1-1 at the Mavericks on Tuesday night. Paul George, 23 points. They tried to come back. Batum went 7-7 from 3. He's going to have to do that with Kennard out of the lineup, strained calf muscle. Well, I think that this game means a ton to the Pistons getting a chance to play at Crypto. And I don't see why they can't cover 9 points. I guess you take Cade out of the lineup and it's a pretty ugly group, but I feel like that they can keep this close. When are the Clippers blowing anybody out these days? Let's just take a look at the Clippers' victories over the last little while before I decide to take the Pistons. God, I don't even like saying that out loud. 0-7 on the road so far this season. Let's click on the Clippers, and here we go. They beat up on the Rockets by 16. There you go. That was at Houston. What am I saying? And they beat the Lakers by 13. So those are their only. So they've done it twice this year. Twice this year they've covered this number. Twice. Top Shelf says Ivy's playing decent. Johnny Gunn says, don't you think the book set this line so big because they want you to take the Pistons? Seems trappy. Yeah, but I mean, I guess at least they moved it from 10 to 9. At least we have it moving from 10 to 9, right? Can we say that? Let's go back. Is this a public dog? If it's a public dog, obviously, and it is 55% of the tickets on the Pistons, but 71% of the cash. But I guess it's a public dog. I just feel like, do the Clippers care about beating a team here by margin? I don't know if they do. I just don't know if they do. Lee Davis says the line is 9 because the Pistons have 3 wins. Slow Jam's leaning to the under. I just think the opportunity for the Pistons to play in LA is something that they probably won't take lightly. And this is also a situation where the spread's big enough. I know, Johnny Guns, I think the spread's big enough where if the Clippers are up 17 points with 6 minutes left, you can still get the cover. Because the Pistons will keep fighting and trying. I don't know. It's hard for me not to take the Pistons. I don't know if I end up pulling the trigger at this point, but it's Pistons or no bet. It's funny that the Clippers have their last 2 wins have both covered this, have both covered a 9-point spread, but they hadn't done it all year before that. Not once all season. Their last 2 wins have been by margin, one at Houston and one at home versus the Lakers. Maybe they do it again here. Cade is not playing Markelle. All right, this is going to take more thought here. Maybe I'm just sitting here on a public spot. And we know what happens to public dogs is they don't cover. But let's move on. Top Shelf says Backwood. We are moving on the under in Brooklyn, Portland, and the under in San Antonio, Sacramento. The question is, what do we do with this Pistons spot? All right, let's move on to NCAA basketball. I enjoyed the breakdowns yesterday. We broke down 8 games. Our man Daby Cab moved on 3 of them. He went 2-1. I moved on 5 of them. I went 3-2. The season has started out well, and I'm looking forward to attack this group of college basketball games. Then we'll get into college football. Please welcome to the show, coming to us from Dallas, Texas, Daby Cab in the house. Daby Cab, what up?
What's up, Jimmy? Glad to be back up here. Would have liked to sweep yesterday, but we'll take a positive day anytime, especially when we do this day in and day out, right?
Absolutely. We will take a winning day every day. Yeah, all we need is the black. Just find the black, stay in the black, and that's where we are right now, and it feels good. And this is an interesting card and a tricky one. We have the Penn State game on right now. Penn State up 9 here against Furman. And then we have a look from our guy, Matty Ice. Matty Ice giving us Bryant plus 7.5 as his taint play of the day. We'll discuss that a little more at the end here, but know that taint is in. Matty Ice says Michigan by 10 plus was easy money. It was. I was definitely on the wrong side there. My 2 losses were atrocious, but then I won my other 3 bets. I lose Pittsburgh plus 8.5. They lose by 30. I lose Gonzaga first half. They lose terrible. And then
Texas is if they can, obviously they won't shoot the ball like that all season, but if they can even shoot close to that this season with the defense that they have, or watch out for the Longhorn team. That's coming from an Aggie. Those Longhorns can play some basketball now, Jimmy.
There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. That was impressive. It was very, very impressive. And Ski saying that the difference in those 2 NBA totals could be 3-point defense. It definitely is. But isn't that an enormous difference? We're talking the point total is 21 points different. That's just with the team getting just 2 combined, the 2 teams getting combined 2 more possessions a game over the last 5. It's just, but you're absolutely right. That's definitely it. Top Shelf says, I like Texas for Elite 8. Let's get to work in NCAA. We had a winning day yesterday. We'd like a winning day here again today. And all I do is set the table here for Cab. And let's get to work. We start at the Myrtle Beach Invitational. We'll be talking about both spots at the Myrtle Beach Invitational here. We're going to be talking Boise State, Charlotte a little later. But we're going to start with the game at 4 p.m. Eastern. Murray State Racers 1-1 versus number 24 ranked Texas A&M Aggies to open up the season 2-0. We're at the Conway. We're in Conway, South Carolina for this one. Let's start with the Murray State Texas line history here, and then we'll get into the cash flow as well. Line history-wise, Texas A&M opened as minus 10.5 yesterday at 6:13 at Pinnacle. They're now minus 12, so a 1.5 move over to the Aggies. From a total standpoint, it opened up at 139. We're now seeing 138. We go over to the cash flow for this one. We have fuck is it? Man, there's a lot of games up here today, and this is always going to be a problem of mine. But I will find them before we start each one. Texas A&M. Show your fucking face. It's going to take me a second to find it, and I apologize for that. It's not up here right now. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. I will find it so we can tell what the cash is here shortly. Motherfucker. God, pissing me off. Okay. I'm not going to get too angry here. I'm going to try to stay focused, but I will get the money for you. After losing badly, 91-68 at St. Louis to open up the season, Murray State beat up on Lindsey Wilson College. Mighty Lindsey Wilson College, 90-53 at home on Saturday night. Texas A&M have opened this season with 2 very easy home wins, and this is not a home game, but it looks like it should be another easy victory. They defeated UL Monroe 87-54. Then they beat Abilene Christian 77-58 at home on Friday night. Mike M telling us 77% of the bets and cash on A&M with a 2-point move their way. Billy Friedrich says that Lindsey Wilson College, one sassy school. Take it away for us, Daby Cab, Murray State, Texas A&M.
All right. Man, okay. So one thing about Murray State is you're going up against 2 strengths going against each other. Murray State takes care of the basketball. They have just a 13.5% turnover rate, and we all know these Buzz Williams teams. They get after the ball. It's what they do. A&M's going to be very aggressive on offense in this game, though. Murray State has the 350th defense in the country when it comes to creating turnovers. So they might not turn the ball over on offense, but when it comes to defense, they're not getting any turnovers. So A&M should be extremely aggressive, not only on offense but on the boards here. There should be regression for Texas A&M, as right now they're shooting 42.9% from 3 and 56.9% from 2. And they're also in the top 20 in the nation in free throw creation. So they're getting, like I said, they're aggressive. So they're creating a lot of free throw opportunities. This A&M team is. Buzz Williams has them playing like Houston does, where they're attacking the rim a lot. I really love it. On the other side, A&M's defense, they're top 20 in adjusted defense. This game, I think the line is getting a little out of hand at this point. I did actually make a bet on this, Jimmy, but I don't know if I want to go official for the show because I got in at the first half and I got a whole point better than what it is right now. I got 6.5 in the first half for A&M. Right now it's 7.5. I think A&M wins this game by about 10 to 12 points. So I think the number's right on the line, but I think they come out early and aggressive, and I think they're up at halftime comfortably. So that's why I took them in the first half. But I think for show purposes, I'm just going to stay off. Like I said yesterday, I don't like taking the ass into lines. And with college basketball, guys, make sure you're staying in tune to the lines because these things move a ton overnight.
Yeah, they sure do. There is a 6.5 available minus 114 at Pinnacle. But if you don't want to make that,
I'll take that. I'll take it. Let's get it.
Piker also looking at taking A&M first half. I think you made a very interesting point about their shooting percentage, 42.9 from 3 and 56 from the field at home in front of their fans with their nets. So if you think that there's going to be some regression here in Conway at the Myrtle Beach Invitational, you don't think that would affect them in the first half?
The reason why I did not let that keep me away is simply because what they thrive on, like I was talking about, is creating those free throw opportunities by attacking the glass, by being aggressive. And so I think a lot of the reason their percentage is so high is because they're getting really good looks. They're getting layups. They're getting easy shots. So I do think there will be regression from deep, but not up close, not on the boards. So I don't think it'll be enough of a regression to stop them from at least being up by 8 points at halftime for me.
I get it. I get it. And you got in we got you the 6.5, and other Keppers want to get in with you. Piker says Murray State bottom of the barrel on both sides of the court. Luchase Fox says A&M money line and some big chalk parlays for him. And I did find the A&M spot. So they still, even at this price, they've given A&M, other than Northern Illinois and Indiana State and actually even East Tennessee State. Those are the 4 spots on the entire board that Sports Insights has given the most line value to. A&M's on that. So right now we have 3,001 tickets in, 78% of the tickets, 79% of the cash on Texas A&M, and then 75% of the tickets, 93% of cash on the under. That under is interesting. The idea being we don't think Texas will shoot as well at home, or so as they did at home, and now they're on the road. And then we have a defense in Texas A&M that will swarm them. I just want to go back to this total. It's gone from 139 to 138. It feels like that's the right look here. I would like to see what BetOnline opened this at, because we know BetOnline gets it out earliest. So BetOnline opened the total at 141.5, and they've dropped it down to 137.5, and the under 137.5 is a minus 120. So this total is going to continue to drop, and you said
it. I've got it here. I know it's early, but right now A&M is top 20 in adjusted defense. So,
wow, it's 136.5 at Bet3. Okay, so we've missed it.
Oh, dang!
But you can still get it at some spots, I imagine. Let me just see if there is a book hanging. If anybody wants it, I'll let you guys know if there's. Wow, so that just took too long to figure out for me. Obviously, I think it was your note about hitting 42.9 and 56 at home in these easy spots, and then getting on the road. That I wish I had heard that earlier. They're saying that Pinnacle is still hanging a 138. There's still some 137s out there. I'll see if that's a stale number. Would you want me to check it out, or do you want me to? Or you're not going to move on it anyways?
I'm not going to move on the total since I did go ahead and move on the side. But
cool.
I mean, I do agree with it. I think the under 138 is a great look.
All right, let's move on to the Shriners Children's Charleston Classic. Colorado State Rams at South Carolina Gamecocks. 2 undefeated teams playing. This is at 5 p.m. Eastern. And Lou Chase saying, Daby, save me from betting a loser with Texas Southern to cover against U of H. They lost by 36, and the line was 32. Said 3 of my brothers have engineering careers from University of Houston. Nice, man.
That first half, when you go with Houston, that first half, they're 4-0 to the first half already this year.
So we're at TD Arena here in Charleston, South Carolina. Colorado State comes in off their 3rd straight home win to start the season. They defeated Weber State 77-52 on Monday night. And then they travel here for this. South Carolina squeaked out 2 home wins to start the season. They beat South Carolina State 80-77. And then, remember, the market was moving towards Clemson last Friday when Bobano was here. And Clemson lost. They beat Clemson 60-58. That was impressive. We cashed on the under in that game on Friday, 60-58 final. But Clemson was really, always dictating the pace in that one. Let's take a look at the line history in this one. And this is a total that's just being bet down heavily. Also, South Carolina opening up. We'll do the money line because the spread's just at 1. South Carolina opening up minus 109. They got up to minus 115. And it's come back. So they're now minus 106. So Colorado State is the favorite at Pinnacle. From a total side of things, opened up at 137 down to 133.5. And we'll again take a look at BetOnline to see where they opened it. They also opened at 137. So no difference in this one, even though BetOnline got out to it first. This big move to the under happened this morning because this line came out at 7 in the morning. So even at 9:23 this morning, you could get a 137. It's been bet all the way down to 133.5 here in Colorado State, South Carolina. Ticket-wise, they've given slight line value to Colorado State. 2,622 tickets in. 50-50 on the tickets, but 90% of the cash on Colorado State. 90% of the cash on Colorado State, and Colorado State is now the favorite in this basketball game. Interesting. Then you have 56% of the tickets on the over and 1% of the cash. All the money coming in on the under. T-Mac says he's riding with Colorado State, but Raven in the Desert on the other side with South Carolina. So, South Carolina, Colorado State, Charleston Classic. Take it away for us, Daby Cab, Rams, Gamecocks.
So you said it with the last game against Clemson. It was a good win for South Carolina, 60-58. But I think Clemson is heading in the exact opposite direction as they want to be heading as a team this year. Colorado State, they cruised to their last win. It was 77-52. Right here, the Rams, they're 191st in the nation in scoring offense, putting up 74 points per game. and they're 87th in scoring defense. This team has 4 players who average double digits. Okay, so they can shoot. They're averaging 8.7 threes per game right now, shooting at 46.4% from beyond the arc, which is 15th in the nation. So Colorado State can shoot it. And when I finish this breakdown, what it's going to come back to for me on this game is the fact that they've got 4 players who can average double digits, or who average double digits on, and who can take over for them. Where you look on the other side, Gamecocks, like you said, they're 2-0. Chico Carter Jr. hit that game winner against Clemson with 0.9 seconds left. So like I said, that was a good game, but it was very close. He led them that game. He had 16 points. The Gamecocks are 256 in the nation in scoring offense and 157th on the defense. And this team, it's just not a great team from top to bottom. I'm not super high on Colorado State, but when I say the fact that they have 4 players, they can spread the ball out. They have 4 people who can put up the points for them. I could only look Colorado State here. I completely understand why 95% of the money is on Colorado State. Not necessarily something that I'm rushing to get behind because I don't want to join 95% of the cash. But I get it. I definitely understand. I was going to ask you a question here. If it's flipped, because on mine right here, it's showing that they're a favorite for the full game, but you can get plus a half a point in the first half of the game on Pinnacle. Is that still there?
I'll check it out right now. Let's see. Yeah, I've got the money line first half at my book. First half full game -110. In that -110, South Carolina still you can get is -1 and -0.5 at the half. You get Colorado State plus half, +1. Let's see what Pinnacle is doing here. You know what's going to keep me off this is the reason why I guess I shouldn't say keep me off this, because I guess for me this would be South Carolina or no bet. And
okay.
I'm saying that just because, and I'm going to stay off of it. You know, if everyone really believes in Colorado State, if we look at the 3 games that Colorado State has played so far, Southeast Louisiana, they Gardner Webb, and we know Gardner Webb's tough this year. 65-63, they squeak by Gardner Webb. And then they barely beat Southeast Louisiana 80-69. I guess that takes away from what I was going to say, was because what I was going to say is the fact that I like the fact that the Gamecocks have played 2 real tight basketball games. One against the in-state rival, with State, and then, of course, another one with Clemson. Like, these are 2 tough games, meaningful games that they played. They've been in the minute left and don't know who's going to win situation, where Colorado State has been against Gardner Webb, and I guess so it takes away from that. But then let's just see what Pinnacle is doing. I guess that doesn't work. What I was thinking in my head when I broke in a little bit of it down was that Colorado State had won their games easily, which is not the case here. But we have Mike M saying, I really like South Carolina first half, somewhat home court advantage, but I agree Colorado State opens it up with the ability to spread it out later in the game. And Furman has come all the way back, now down 1 point. Wow. Piker says Colorado State plays defense, South Carolina does not. That's a pretty nice deal, getting basically a pick 'em here. Wow. Okay, let me just pull up.
Yeah, the money. I love hearing the money when we talk about it, because the money's going to keep me off Colorado State here. I'm not trying to jump in with 95% of the cash, but it is sharp money. Like you said, if it's 50-50 on the tickets, but 95% of the cash, I guess it's sharp money, but still, I'm not.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's they're slightly favored, Colorado State first, and then the first half is a complete pick 'em. So, all right, DC Capper giving us 3 spots. Oh, the package of winners yesterday. Nice job. Or is this for today? No, I guess it's for today because Austin P, you have Northern Illinois. Okay, I'll copy and paste that DC. And Piker says Colorado State, Jimmy, let's go. I'll trade a van for a scooter straight up. That's what he says. Okay, no move for me there. Let's move on. Next up for us is another earlier start, and then we get to 7 p.m. starts. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. We have another game of undefeated teams here at St. John's Red Storm. We're in Queens, New York for this one. Nebraska comes in off its second straight home win to start the season, 75-61 at home over Omaha, and they were 17.5-point favorites in that one and didn't cover. St. John comes in off 3 straight home wins to start the season, last one being a 91-74 victory over Coastal Carolina on Tuesday night. Let's take a look at the line history for this one, Nebraska St. John's. We have Nebraska opening up as 10.5-point dogs, and it's been going down just recently. They're now at 9.5. From a total perspective, it opened up at 157.5 and is shot all the way up to 160.5. We have a 3.5-point move to the over in this one. Let's take a look at the cash flow here and see if it helps us move in a direction. We have 1,664 tickets in. 36% of the tickets and 45% of the cash is on Nebraska. And we see a point move in their direction. Then you have 89% of tickets, 96% of cash on the over. If anybody got in early, you can feel good about yourself. We're getting other looks from our guy, Matty Ice. I'm going to copy and paste them so we can talk about them. Thank you for sharing them with us, Matty. Take it away here for us. Seems like some bigger, sharper action on Nebraska. Johnny Guns moved on the 158.5. Nice job. Nice job, because that's at 160.5 now. Take it away for us, Cab. Nebraska, St. John's.
First thing to touch on has got to be the key players for me that St. John's added in the transfer portal. David Jones from DePaul and Andre Curbelo from Illinois. Big additions to this team. The Red Storm has the sixth highest tempo. This team pushes the ball. They only average 13.7 seconds per possession. That's how high their tempo is. That's outrageous. Nebraska averages 18, so that's actually on a little bit of the higher end too. Nebraska has the 69th ranked adjusted tempo, which I said is that's on the higher end too. It's not the 8th, but they're up there. Derek Walker, he's still day-to-day for the Cornhuskers right here. He hasn't played yet. Without him, the Cornhuskers, they don't have anything down low. Okay, that's the problem with this team without him in there. Soriano, he's the 6'11 guy that's going to be all over them. I don't see how Nebraska is going to stop him for St. John's. I just don't see what they're going to do to put on him. That being said, Nebraska is shooting the ball well. And with how fast these two teams play, specifically St. John's, and without Nebraska being able to cover Soriano, I expect this game to go over. So I know that's the total's moving for a reason. And it's hard, Jimmy, like we talk about on this show. Like, I don't want to grab official bets on this show with shittier lines than what we could have bet, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. It's tricky, and you don't have to. Just letting everybody know that,
I like it though. I mean, and if you got it early, I love it.
Yeah, it's Heritage just moved it to 162. This total is climbing as we speak. 162 Heritage just moved it to. That's wild. So if but I can understand not wanting to move on it now. Piker says high tempo offense for St. John's. Lax defense is a nice recipe for an over. Wow. All right. So, and Curbelo was benched in the second half in the last game. What do you want to do here, Cab? Do you want to move on from it?
I do. I really like the over. I'd lean St. John's. I made a lot of money fading Nebraska last year, but I'm off this game, Jimmy, just because of the fact that, I mean, to have it go from 158 to 162, that's not a little movement. That's a lot. That's a huge movement.
That's huge. No doubt about it. It's huge. It's huge. There's our guy, Sun Dizzle, in the house. Sun Dizzle saying hello from Belize. Sun Dizzle doing it right, man. Doing it right. We got more looks for St. Francis and Butler from Matty Ice. I'm going to copy and paste this. I've got all the games that Matty Ice has given us here. I've got it in the chat. All right, let's move on. I'm not going to reach there. Yeah, he was the point guard at Illinois last year. Sorry, I've got it all.
He's good.
Here. Yeah, the Puerto Rican. Yeah, he's really good. Okay, so you mean the second half of the season is what you're saying. Okay, I get you, saturated. Okay, let's move on here to the next spot on the board. No move in Nebraska, St. John's. But when you were talking about actually, let's just hold on before we move into Wichita State, Richmond. Can we just go back to the graphic here with Nebraska, St. John's? Because I thought you were saying that you were interested in. When the breakdown happens, do you feel that at first when you were talking about the 6'11" who was going to be kind of dominating the game with Nebraska's big out, do you agree with this 1 point move and looking like some of the bigger bets are on Nebraska, because here we have a spot where St. John's has the tickets all over them, but not the cash.
So if somebody knows something about Walker, like I said, Nebraska has somebody to put down low, but he hasn't played yet, and he's been day to day. And I don't have that answer for you. If Derek Walker's playing, then that's why the line's going towards Nebraska.
I'm thinking of moving on Nebraska here. It's just having the public on St. John's and the cash on Nebraska and the point move there.
Because the whole game changes if Walker's playing. The whole game changes. It's a big deal.
All right. I think I'm moving on Nebraska plus the points here. Matty Ice saying, please send love and prayers to the Nut Flush family, going through a lot right now. And he says, trust me, the Low Bag family brings so much love. I can tell you how much it helps firsthand. Low Bag equals family. His father took a turn for the worse yesterday, but he's such a strong guy. And I think sounds like, because he had the emergency heart surgery, it sounds like a valve, one of the valves that they put in is, look, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't have it, but it sounds like there's an issue with a valve, and that's why he kind of went blank there, because he just wasn't getting blood to the brain. And so I think that, we got him in the hospital. I think he'll bounce back here. I really do think he'll bounce back, and they can figure out what isn't working. He's going to be in the hospital for a while. So I agree. If we could all just send as much love and positive energy and prayers to the Nut Flush Allen family and to Mike's dad, that would be really, really helpful, because we know it helps.
Mike's one of the greatest, man. One of my favorite things about San Antonio was getting to meet Mike, man. Mike's just such a great guy. Such a great person. Such a great human, man.
Yeah, he's a really, really special dude, really money in the bank guy. Let's move on to the next spot. We head to Richmond, Virginia for this. Wichita State at Richmond Spiders, two teams that have been heavily involved in wild basketball over the last couple of years. We may be getting weak representations of them, at least in the Wichita side of things. This opened up Wichita plus 4.5. They're now 5-point dogs. The total opened up at 133. It's dropped a point to 132. From a cash flow side of things, here we have, get there. Oh, man. Okay, it's going to take me a second to bring it up. I apologize. It'll take me a second to get Wichita State. Just too many games. I got to set. Here we go. 1,336 tickets in. 56% of the tickets, 67% of the cash on Richmond. Then you have 54% of the tickets, 97% cash on the under, and it's moving to the under. Wichita State comes in off a very surprise 66-57 loss at home to Alcorn State as 15.5-point favorites. And then Richmond comes in off a tight 92-90 loss at Charleston on Monday night. I can understand why the market is moving towards Richmond. Do you have a look here on this one? Take it away, Cab. Wichita State, Richmond Spiders.
Yeah, I understand why that line's moving too. That loss to Alcorn State was bad. Richmond on the other side, their loss to Charleston, they were down 45-31 at one point in that game. They still lost 92-90, so they still lost, but they were down significant and managed to bring that game back and take it into overtime. They were led by Tyler Burton in that. He had 38 points, followed by Matt Grace putting up 16. This should be a good game. I think this will be a great game. But really, just to simplify it, the only way I could look is Richmond. Wichita just doesn't have anybody that does it for me. This team, like you said, I think this is going to be a down year for Wichita. And I could only look Richmond, and I agree with the line movement, but I haven't bet it.
Well, I'm not going to bet it. I want to use what's worked so well in college football for us this year. And I don't want to buy a team or I guess sell a team. I don't want to sell Wichita State at their lowest point. And I don't know how bad they are. We have Matty Icing Alcorn State is a sneaky good mid-major team. But what I don't want to do is Wichita State in their second game of the season getting slapped in the face and not expect them to bounce back. Clearly, the public is sitting there saying, we think Wichita State's terrible. This is a perfect bounce back opportunity for Wichita State and a perfect buy low opportunity for Wichita State, which I'm not going to do. But I'm not going to sell a team low at this point. So I'm off. Luchace Fox says, "Can we talk about how bad Michigan is going to slaughter Arizona State now?" No, we have skipped that game. Although we are going to talk Pittsburgh VCU. We are going to talk about the losers, but I don't want to talk about that. Don't want to talk about that spot. Okay, so Wichita State Richmond. I got to keep this. We're doing so well in college football doing it. I'm going to try to transfer it over. And obviously, after watching Wichita State lose to Alcorn State, you think, well, we got it back Richmond here. I'm not going to do that. Let's move to the second spot on the Myrtle Beach Invitational. Boise State Broncos versus Charlotte 49ers. We're back at the Conway at the HTC Center in South Carolina. So first off, Boise State bounced back from their 68-66 loss at home to South Dakota State by beating Washington State at home 71-61 on Saturday night. Charlotte comes in off two very easy home victories to start the year. They beat Coppin State 82-59 before beating Maryland Eastern Shore 80-47. They were just 12.5-point favorites in that beatdown of Maryland Eastern Shore. Let's take a look at what we are getting here from the line history in this one. Boise State, Charlotte. We've seen this total fall very quick, but let's start with the point spread. Open with Boise State -5.5. They're now -5. This has dropped to 4.5 as well and come back up to 5. So dropped a little low. The total's gone from 135 all the way down to 131.5. So a big drop there. Let's see where the cash lies in this one. We have, take me a second to find it. There we go. We have slight line value on Charlotte, but the bigger bets are coming in on Boise State. Just 1,122 tickets in, 47% of tickets, 69% of cash is on Boise State. Then 92% of tickets on the under, and we don't have a cash flow, but we can see how much money, or so how fast that total is dropping. Take it away for us here, Broncos, 49ers, Cab.
Okay, first thing I want to say for the Broncos, Marcus Saver Jr., he's good. Last game, he had 15 points, 10 rebounds. Then you got Max Rice following him up with 15 points and Deegan Hart, who had 14 points. So they've got some players. And Boise looked good on defense. You look here on the other side, though, Charlotte, they're averaging 81 points a game early, making 56.9% of their field goals. They got Jackson Threadgill, Bryce Williams, Igor Jr. This Charlotte team has a lot of people that can shoot the ball very well. Again, Boise State's defense showed more of what I expected from them. They looked bad against South Dakota State in that second game. But the Broncos, one thing that they have done still is they've struggled. They've struggled to show that they're aggressive on the boards, and I don't like that, especially with the Charlotte team who's holding opponents to 53 per game right now. This is one where I think that I agree with the line value on Charlotte, and I could only look to take Charlotte plus the points here.
Yeah, I like it too. I'm just a little surprised that the bigger bets are coming in on Boise State. Boise State having to travel. I'm a little surprised. I guess that may keep me off of.
I was high on Boise State coming into this season, and it's just one game what I saw with South Dakota State, but I've only got 3 games to go off of, and I really didn't like what I saw in that one game. I need to see this team be more aggressive on the glass. That's what I really need to see from Boise State. So I don't have enough information to comfortably bet this game, but I can tell you I would bet Charlotte if I had a free bet.
I guess I'm not going. I'm going to be on Nebraska. Let's see if I have enough action. If I don't, I'll add Charlotte. But at this point, it kind of goes against a plan that I'd like to have. I'd like to have bigger bets coming in on my side than the ticket count. And I would like to be not backing a team after a dominant performance. So, I got to take Charlotte off because that was a dominant performance against Maryland Eastern Shore. Johnny Gunn says, I think everyone has higher expectations from Boise, Charlotte, or pass. Take a shot with the money line, too. Sorry to hear that, Loopy. Sorry that Georgia State got you, man. Let's move on. We have 31 minutes before the Cappers contest, and we have 3 more games here. Next up for us is back at Charleston. We have Davidson Wildcats, 3-0, 1-0 on the road. The Charleston Cougars, 2-1, 2-0 at home. We're back at TD Arena in Charleston. So let's move over to the line history here for this one and decide how we are going to attack it. We have Davidson opening up as 1 point dogs, now 3.5 point dogs. So a 2.5 point move towards Charleston. From a total perspective, it opened up at 158 and it got all the way up to 168. How wild is that? That's all at Pinnacle. It opened up at 158.5 at 6:13. And then all of a sudden it was a 10-point swing, or 9.5 to 168 at 12:18 today. And then that was dubbed too high. Since it got to 168, it's down to 165.5. So some wild movement in the marketplace for that one. Let's see what the cash here says. 1,979 tickets in. 35% of the tickets and 57% of cash on Charleston. So the public is on Davidson, and the markets move that quickly over to Charleston. Then you have 54% of tickets, 68% cash on the over. That's this is some wild market movement, which tells me that Charleston is the play. Davidson's won 2 very tight games in the last week. They won at Wright State 102-97 in double overtime before defeating VMI 75-71 at home. They beat VMI by 4 points as 20.5 point favorites. Charleston comes in off that 92-90 overtime win over Richmond at home here on Monday night that we've already discussed. Take it away for us, Cab. Davidson, Charleston.
You said one of the first things I was going to touch on is that Virginia military game. They were 21.5 point favorites, and they won 75-71. That being said, Virginia military is always a decent bet on team, in my opinion. The Wildcats in this matchup, and I don't go a lot off of this because they don't play that often, but in this matchup, 23-10, that's interesting. Davidson shoots 45.8% from the floor. They're led by Foster. And this Wildcats, they're 36th in scoring offense right now, averaging 88 points per. But then you flip it over to the defensive side, not good. 307th in scoring defense. But they have 4 players who average double digits. And I talked about this earlier in one of the games. When you can spread the ball around that much, it's something that I really like. And it's why Davidson's shooting percentage is so high. I don't expect there will be some regression, but I don't expect a ton from them. Charleston's win on Monday against Richmond, that was a big win. I think they were 2.5 point favorites and they only won by 2, but it was still a big win. Then they also hung around with North Carolina. And I think that's going to be in most people's mind here. That they did play well against North Carolina in their one loss. They're led by Smith, who had 29 points in their win over Richmond. A lot of points there. Cougars are 38th in scoring offense. So we've got 2 offenses that can score right here. 36th in scoring offense and 38th in scoring offense. But like I said, Davidson has massively struggled on defense, and so has Charleston. They're sitting at 358th on defense. So these defenses suck. That's why this total is that's why they don't know what to do with it. These defenses are not good on either side. So when you break it down to that, and you give me 4 players that can average double digits on Davidson with this number, I could only, like Matty I said in there, I could only look Davidson at this number because we're dealing with 2 terrible defenses, and Davidson can spread the ball around and score.
Yeah, I think that Charleston's a spot here. I can still get it at -3. Pinnacle's moved it to -3.5. They moved it an hour and a half ago, and my book hasn't. So if I can get them at 3, I'm going to move on to Charleston. Loopy, that was my fault. I thought you meant Georgia State, but Golden State. That was my fault. I probably pushed you in that direction, and I'm not on this game, so my money's not where my mouth is. But you've got on Charleston, what kept me away from them and what had me looking at Davidson is they only have 1 player on their team averaging double digits right now, Dalton Bolin, whereas you've got the 4 on the other side. Charleston just doesn't have enough players for me where they can spread the ball around. That's what worries me about them. Yeah. I feel like they're a battle-tested squad right now, and if I can get 3 or less, I'm going to take them. But I guess the problem is here we're selling Davidson off a low after their VMI game. I'm leaning towards Charleston. Oliver Page, our guy Lucky Lefty, talking about San Diego. We're going to get to San Diego. That'll be our final game. But next up, we'll talk about go back to Barclays Center for the Legends Classic. Pittsburgh Panthers 1 and 2 have looked just atrocious against VCU, who I stayed off of VCU last night thanks to that big line move towards them, but we cashed the under very easily. Both teams played last night and lost. So Pittsburgh lost 91-60, VCU lost 63-59 at Arizona State. Let's take a look at the line history for this one, VCU Pittsburgh. Then we're going to talk San Diego, and then we're going to get into the big football game tonight in New Orleans for Tulane. So let's go to the line history here in this one, Pittsburgh VCU. This is another total that's just dropped. The floor is just dropped. But Pittsburgh opening up as 2.5-point dogs, now 3-point dogs. From a total perspective, it opened up at 134, it's dropped all the way down to 129.5. That's just a huge, huge drop. From the cash flow situation in Pittsburgh, come on, I'll pull it up here in a second. Virginia Commonwealth, show your fucking face. God, I'm not finding it here. Annoying. I'll find it here in a second. Tell us your thoughts, because after I didn't watch much of the second half in Pittsburgh, Michigan, but after watching some of the VCU Arizona State, I think VCU can beat Pittsburgh here. What are your thoughts on this spot, Debbie?
I agree with that. One thing for VCU last night, Ace Baldwin, their point guard, he's out, and it was announced out right before the game. So you would think, a tweaked leg or something like that. He's a broken right hand. How we didn't have that, I don't know. So, but he was announced out right before the game, and that was news to everyone. So that was a big deal that they lost him right before the game yesterday. But I like the guard Jaden Nunn. He did play yesterday. He had 13 points last night. He did good. Pitt is horrible offensively, and through 3 games, they've shown that. We knew they were horrible, and they've shown they're horrible. I don't see this as a good back-to-back spot for them either. VCU's defense, it struggled at times, but they have a good defense. Last night when they lost that game, and this is what's scary, VCU, they shot 17.4% in the second half of that game. They made 4 of 23 shots, and the only reason I have not already bet VCU is because I'm not interested in getting behind somebody that just went 4 of 23 in the last half of a game. I don't expect them to keep that up. But still, and you look in Brandon Johns Jr. last night, he was held to only 10 points, I expected more of him. All that being said, I think the pressure that the Rams cause here will be way too much for the Panthers. I don't think Pittsburgh has anything on offense, and I think VCU's defense is actually a good college basketball defense. I think that they're going to put it on Pitt here. I could only look VCU. I just haven't bet it.
I think I'm going to look VCU. Anybody find? I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't seem to pull up the cash flow on Sports Insights. I don't know if I'm just been looking at too many games here, but I can't seem to find it. If anybody can find it, let me know. Quick question from No Something says, can you explain why you stayed off VCU based on the line move? How to move? Exactly what Cab said earlier. It moved from -1.5 to -4.5, which means that the strong bettors got it at 1.5, and here I was going to take it on the ass end of the line. And we don't want to do that. You just don't want to do that. I have a limit of 2.5 points, but even that's too many. It was moved to 3. So, sorry, I'm stuttering. You don't want to take the worst number. You don't want to ever take the worst number ever in sports gambling. Especially if you miss it, just stay off of it. Just stay off of it. Okay, so ticket is blank, and the action is also. That's what I thought. Numbers are down for the VCU game. Okay, so we don't have anything to go on, but we do with what we watched. And Pittsburgh just looks lost out there. So I would like to move on VCU, and I plan to.
I like that.
I plan to here. VCU -2.5 to -3. Pittsburgh looks like they're already questioning everything. All right, so looks like a VCU for me here. Let's talk about the last game on the board before we get into college football for tonight. Utah State Aggies versus San Diego Toreros, Jenny Craig Pavilion, San Diego, California. Both teams come in undefeated. Utah State comes in off their 3rd straight home win to start the season, 96-74 over Santa Clara, 7-point favorites. They looked very good. San Diego didn't look quite as good. They beat NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, 74-64, but they were 17-point favorites in that one. So it was not a very impressive performance by Utah State. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with line history here. Utah State opening up at -5.5. They got up to 7.5. And it's being bet down to 6. So now they're sitting at 6. From a total perspective, it opened up at 142. It shot all the way up to 147.5. Billy Friedrich says, don't think you're supposed to say Jenny Craig. Well, I'm going to say it. I'm going to fucking say it. I'm not going to hide away from the name of this, even though it makes us think of, well, some people want to think of what it makes us think of. Let's stop here. Aggies, Toreros. Let's take a look at the cash flow in this one. We have 1,084 tickets in. Utah State is given about 15% line value. 45% of the tickets, 84% of the cash on San Diego. Wild. And it moved so quickly into Utah State's direction. Take it away for us. Last game on the board, Utah State, San Diego.
Gosh, this is another one, man. So this Utah State team, I'm pretty high on this team. This is another one that I really wanted to bet Utah State, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it, and I don't think I'm going to. The Aggies right here, they're 48th overall according to KenPom, overall rating. 53rd adjusted defense, 53rd adjusted offense, 47th adjusted defense. They're led by Stephen Ashworth, the 6'1" guard, averaging 18.3 a game, followed by Tyler Funk, the 6'9" senior, who's averaging 17 points and 11 rebounds right now. I like this Utah State team. San Diego on the other side, they came in rated 119th in preseason. They're 3-0 right now, but they're not doing good against the spread. According to KenPom, they're 147th in the nation, led by transfer Shishiho, the transfer from Weber State, who's averaging 19.5 a game, so he can put it up. But you look, like I said, San Diego not doing good against the spread here. And if you go back to last season, they're 1-7 ATS, their last 8. While I see this Utah team as a team that's firing on all cylinders here. It's interesting that they moved so quickly with the money coming on San Diego, but I do agree with the line value on Utah State. I could only look Utah State here in this game. I think they're a more proven team than San Diego.
Yeah, this wild swing in the side up to 7.5, down to 6. And then we see here that there's a ton of bigger bets on San Diego is enough to give you pause. 55% of the tickets on Utah State, but just 16% of the cash. I'm comfortable with my card right now, and I'm going to move forward with it. Daby Cab is on Texas A&M first half. That's what he is rolling with. I'm going to be on Nebraska plus the points, and then both Charleston and VCU minus the points. Those are my 3 spots here. Billy Friedrich saying Utah State -6.5 and -105 at Bookmaker. That is our NCAA basketball breakdown for today's show. Cabby, thank you for joining us. It is great. On Thursdays, the only place to see Daby Cab is right here. Betting with the Bag. Great job. 2-1 yesterday. Looking to go 3-1 with A&M first half. Thank you so much for rolling with us, Cab. Any last words for the Cappers supporting the show?
Oh, man. Best chat out there, man. Best chat out there. Thank all you guys out there. Billy Friedrich, Don Play, all you guys know something I didn't get to yesterday in the NCAA show, but I got you now. Know something. All you guys, man. Jimmy, thank you for having me up here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. So it's all love, man. And let's get some more money. I wish I had more bets today, but I'm not going to force it for anything because, we're here to beat the books, and that's all we're here to do.
Absolutely. And we track everything. So great work. There he is, Daby Cab on Texas A&M first half. So we have 2 more games to break down, and in 16 minutes, the Cappers contest show starts. Jose, could you set up a tweet for our Cappers contest show that I will retweet? And can you also put our record in there? Because it's a pretty good record right now. We are 27, 21, and 2. 27, 21, and 2. Thank you, my man. So I'm going to cap this SMU Tulane game, and then our guy, Jose, will be joining us and he'll lead the way on the breakdown of Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, a big game for young Jose. 1 hole, 2 fingers, bowling ball, zenyatta, lamb chop, bouquet. Let's get to work here. We went 1-1 yesterday. That's our first loss in a weekday college basketball game in a while. college football game in a while. It was Eastern Michigan team total under. And, we got under 24.5. It was under, they scored 7 points in the first half, and I thought we were going to cash it. We cashed Western Michigan first half +6 very easily. Piker has come in and said, wrong hole play today, SMU Tulane under 65. Let's get to work on this game. I'm really excited about watching this game. I'm very, very excited about this football game. This is going to be, this is as fun as college football gets. A standalone Thursday nighter here with two teams, especially SMU, who loves to run up the score. So we have a wrong hole play today from our guy Piker. He's on the under 65. What we know about standalone college football games is the over gets hammered. This goes on 7:30 p.m. Eastern. SMU Mustangs 6-4, 4-2 in the American at the number 21 ranked Tulane Green Wave, 8-2, 5-1 in the American. We're at Yeoman Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. 52 Fahrenheit clear, 4 miles per hour is the wind. Before we break down the X's and O's in the offense and defense, I'd like to start with the line movement and the cash flow, because that will help kind of dictate where I bet. So let's do that first here. Pulling that up here. We go. We have the Green Wave. Get this up here. Sorry, taking a second. Here we go. While that's loading. Okay, no, it's here. We have the Green Wave opening up at -3. They got up to -4 last night. There was a slight buyback. It's back to 3.5. Now, this opened at 3, and it was there for 48 hours. It was there from Sunday through to Tuesday. And that's a crucial number, the 3, not getting the 3.5 for 4. This total opened up at 64. It's now at 65. Let's take a look at the cash flow here in this one. We have 5,258 tickets in, so it's still slight at this point. 67% of the tickets, 63% of the cash on Tulane. Then we have 73% of the tickets and 75% of the cash on the over. I really feel like, and Piker says the total opened up at 66.5. So why don't we go to a different book here? So I have 65 at Pinnacle and Bookmaker. Put a bet online, and bet online opened at 65.5. So I guess some offshores did open it there, but the ones that I focus on didn't. So he has the total down 1.5. I think if you want the under, that you wait in this, because this 65 at Pinnacle is juiced to -118. So we know that's a 65.5 at most books. And I think it will just keep climbing. We know it'll keep climbing. It's simply put, that's what happens in these standalone games, is they get hammered to the over. But you have to wait, and you have to be patient. But let's talk more about it. SMU has won the last 7 meetings of this series. SMU destroyed the Green Wave last year, 55-26. Has to be fresh in their memory. The Green Wave haven't beaten SMU since October of 2012. Mustangs come in off their 3rd straight win, 41-23 at USF. They're Sharon in the house. And SMU traveled now for the second time in 5 days. That, to me, is probably the biggest factor on why people like Tulane, also expecting Tulane to bounce back. SMU is playing good football. Since the 2-3 start, they won 4 or 5 games, and that only loss was a 29-27 loss against Cincinnati. This team's offense is a juggernaut. 9th in the country in points per game, 11th in total offense, and it all starts with Tanner Mordecai. He's a beast. He's a top 20 in every important category in the country. They have Tyler Levine running the ball with 7 rushing touchdowns, but they have 5 different backs that they can give the ball to who can do damage. And they have Rashee Rice. This guy, 1,167 receiving yards, is number 1 in the country with that number. 77 receptions, 9 touchdown catches. And then when they get into the red zone, you have backs who can catch the ball from the backfield. You have Rashee Rice at wideout, and you have 2 tight ends, 164, 165, that are absolute monsters. RJ Maryland and Ben Redding. The Mustangs' defense is the problem. They're 9th in the AAC in scoring defense, 10th in total defense. They get sacks, but so let's talk about the most important points here, and we got to be quick here because we got to talk about the Oklahoma State-Oklahoma game. The most important point to me is the travel for SMU is very difficult. The second most important point is it's seniors night in Tulane, and they're coming off a home loss to UCF. It just seems like the right opportunity to back them. Lee Davis is going to be on SMU. I imagine that this line on SMU, if you like SMU, to wait. But that's not been the case since when did it get to 4? At Pinnacle, it never got to 4. It was a bookmaker that it got to 4. Wow. And Lee Davis on SMU, Eddie Euler leaning towards SMU. Let's talk about the other side here. So it's seniors night in Tulane. They're in a 3-way tie for first with Cincinnati and UCF at 5-1. They come in off having that 5-game winning streak snapped at home to UCF. They allowed 38 points to UCF. The defense has been their calling card all year, allowing 323.4 yards per game. They lead the AAC in total defense and scoring defense. Tulane held its first 6 opponents to 27 points or fewer, but 3 of the last 4 have gone over that. Their defense seems to be weakening. Michael Pratt's been much better than he was last year. Much, much better. 23 touchdowns, 4 picks. They have Jaquan Jackson, Shea Wyatt, and Deuce Watts on wide receiver that all can take care of business. And they have Tyjae Spears running the ball 6.2 yards per carry. This guy can move the ball. He also is very dangerous out of the backfield. Dana Delp, it's been a long time. Dana, nice to have you. Thank you for joining us. I think that if you want SMU, that you wait. I really do. I think that money's going to pour in on Tulane. The reason why I can't back SMU is because of the travel. The second travel day in 5 days. I don't know how they're going to be able to handle that. I almost think that this is the perfect live betting game because you can sit back and hope SMU gets out to an early lead with their offense. The thing is, can you trust Tulane's defense of late? I do think the fact that they lost to UCF is a great place to back them. I do. And they've not, I think that Tulane, Lee Davis on SMU and Eddie Euler leaning towards SMU makes me want to pause here. Billy Friedrich says these teams are combined 7-3 to the over 65 in the last 5 games. Says I don't think he can touch the under the total. I don't know what to do with Tulane's defense over the last few weeks. It's not nearly as strong, but they still can be trusted. I think that SMU has to be tired in this spot. They have to be. And Tulane's got to be losing their minds here with a chance to beat this team for the first time in 10 years and make up for the rebenga of what happened last year when SMU came in and beat them 55-26. I think this total is going to climb today. So if you want the underweight, I have interest in the under in such an important football game. I have interest. I'll just leave it at interest. And I also think that Tulane has to answer SMU. They have to bounce back from that loss. But maybe the fact is they lose to UCF because their defense is not nearly as strong as it was earlier in the year. I guess I need more time with this spot, and I want to see what happens with the market. But the only way I wanted to look was Green Wave. That is the only way I wanted to look. But this Mustangs squad believes in themselves. Piker says Tulane's defense had an off night versus Knights. Look, the fact that they haven't beaten this team in 10 years, the fact that they're coming off a loss, which is a buy low opportunity, screams to me that I should be on Tulane. Mike M saying SMU offense is gassed. But the fact also that Eddie Euler and Lee Davis are leaning towards SMU plus 3.5 makes me need more time. I will tweet out my action, but we can't talk about it anymore because we need to talk about Oklahoma State here. We need to talk about it here with our Jose Bouquet. Maybe we touch on it again tomorrow. Maybe we do that. But Jose Bouquet, let's get in here. 7:30 p.m. Eastern, Memorial Stadium in Norman, Oklahoma. 39 Fahrenheit clear, 5 miles per hour. Let me give you a quick line history here.
All I care about, Jimmy, literally all I care about in my entire life right now are where the tickets and the money is for this game. That is all I care about in my life.
Well, I will give you that information here right now. First off, we've seen some books move this to 7.5.
Fuckers.
Oklahoma opened this at -6, or Pinnacle opened this at Oklahoma -6. They're now -7.5. Total wise, this total opened at 64 and it's shot up to 66. In the cash flow side of things here, let's get it. Oklahoma State. There's just 1,626 tickets accounted for. 24% of the tickets on Oklahoma. So the public is backing Oklahoma State.
Fuck.
The public is on Oklahoma State. 76% of tickets, 64% of the cash. So that's interesting. You have the public dog on Oklahoma State, and we know what happens to public dogs. That's where we stand right now. So as we speak, 76% of the tickets, 64% of the cash on Oklahoma State. And from a total perspective, 33% of tickets, 48% cash on the under. Take it away, Jose. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, the main important factor of this game, the only thing that matters in this game is if Spencer Sanders is playing. And if he's going to play, I'm backing my Cowboys no matter what. It's an annual tradition at this point. Jimmy, you were there last year. I bet my biggest bet of the year every year is Oklahoma State beating Oklahoma. It's a yearly tradition, and I lose these bets. I've lost, I think, fucking 4 out of the last 5. Last year, we finally got our Rebenga! We finally got it and beat the shit out of Oklahoma. And now I'm worried. I thought this was going to be a 3-point line. I thought Oklahoma might be favored if they're lucky. 7 I thought was crazy. 7.5 I think is crazier. I'm prepared to lose all my money, but I'm going to be on the Oklahoma State Cowboys plus 7.5 and the full game money line. These games, and by the way, take the under as well because both these offenses are not good. Oklahoma's defense is horrible. This is Brett Venables' first Bedlam. He's supposed to be a defensive coach. Oklahoma's defense is horrible. I don't even know who the hell they have at quarterback anymore. Is Skylar Thompson fucking slapchick Dahoozy? Who cares? Oklahoma is a mediocre football team. Oklahoma State a better squad. The issue is that we have a fucking numpty at fucking head coach. Mike Gundy has marbles for fucking brains, and he's an idiot. And we lost our defensive coordinator to Ohio State, who are going to win the national championship this year because of it. So all that is to say, I'll be taking Oklahoma State money line. And Jim, it can go 2 ways for me. And of course, we have videos. It can go 2 ways for me. Mm-hmm. It can go, I think this was 2 years ago when I drove 8 hours to go watch this game. And we had a backup quarterback slide in there, and then we got our asses stomped, and then this happened.
What the fuck was that? Are you fucking kidding me?
Depression, or it can start off like this. We're good. We're either way. We're going to win this ball game, Jim, and I'm going to have a great time drinking the tears of my enemies because this might be, Jimmy, this might be the last Bedlam for a long time because those fucking pussies, those cowards in Norman are fucking running to the SEC to get stomped out by Vanderbilt. Everyone always wants to beat Oklahoma and Texas because they're a bunch of fucking frauds and fucking cowards. So fuck Oklahoma, fuck Bob Stoops, fuck Baker Mayfield. Kyler Murray's okay, but fuck him still. Jalen Hurts, you're an Alabama quarterback. So that's all that matters. Fuck all of them. Oklahoma State by 1 billion.
Wow. Well, you are on the side of the public. The market is moving.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I know every fucking time, Jimmy, every time I lose all my money on this game, and that's not going to stop me. I haven't put the bets in because I wanted to wait and ask you first, where the money line? Because I knew when this opened up at 7, I was like, oh my God, we're going to fucking lose this game now. Because everyone's going to be betting on Oklahoma State because Oklahoma's a bunch of fucking slapdicks, and now they're going to fucking finally put it together for one stupid game and fucking beat us. It's going to piss me off, and I'm going to be depressed. And on top of that, Jimmy, as we have 1 minute left until the Cappers contest show, the New York Jets play the Patriots this week, and this is the most important football week in my last 5 years. The Jets have been nothing since fucking 2011 or whatever it is, and now we have a Rebenga game against those fucking communists up in New England, those fucking losers. I can't fucking wait. I'm going to be a stressed out mess. I'm going to Austin Saturday night. I'm going to get lit, and I'm probably going to cry on the dance floor.
Lily Bob? You write Sweet Tea Tits. That was the nickname that we wanted to add to it all. Wow, it sounds...
Speaking of sweet tea, by the way, Jim, I had a fantasy draft. I made a little fantasy draft that day. I got lit on that sweet tea day, and I'm in fucking last place in that league, and I'm going to have to fucking set up a lemonade stand outside for fucking like 5 hours until I make a certain amount of money for finishing in last place. So
that's the penalty?
That's the penalty. I'm a fucking slapdick. I'm an absolute slapdick. I suck. It would have been in 6th Street in Austin, but we thought, oh, maybe they'll give me a ticket for fucking unlawfully setting up a lemonade stand. So just call me the fucking lemonade man from now on, too. Just add that onto the fucking nicknames. Oklahoma State by a billion. Go watch the Cappers contest show that starts here in a minute ago, and it's going to be a fucking great show.
It's going to be a great show. That was great, and we'll have to talk about this with Bobano again tomorrow and get you back up here. Give us. We'll take another look at the numbers. But we got to go.
Jimmy.
Yeah,
I hate the New York Yankees. I hate Oklahoma football just as much. I fucking can't stand those fuckers. And when Saturday comes along, I'm going to be on the live stream with Daby Cab in the morning. We're going to live stream whatever fucking game it is. I don't even know because I'm only be focused on that game. And fucking the Fallish Hounds, lovely significant other is an Oklahoma guy. And I'm going to be talking shit to him the entire game because that is a second-rate university full of fucking bums, hicks, and fucking nobodies. They build a statue for anyone. Sam fucking Bradford has a statue on your campus. Sam Bradford's horrible.
It's your favorite team, Baylor Bears, at home to the TCU Horned Frogs.
I hope you. Let's go Baylor. I actually I'm rooting for Kansas State to lose twice because that's what Oklahoma State would make the fucking championship game. They suck this year. Oklahoma State sucked. No, Jimmy. All I care about in my life right now are two things: New York Jets over the Patriots, Oklahoma State over Oklahoma. That is it. And if those two teams lose, you might not ever see me again. You might not see me on fucking Wednesday.
Jesus. There you have it. Jose Sweet Tea Tits Bouquet. He looks like it's going to be a tough weekend for him.
It is, buddy. It's always a fucking tough weekend for me.
We got to move over to the Cappers contest show. We're going to jump over there right now. I could give a review, but
there was no chance we were starting that show on time. There was a 0% chance. After I saw there was like 30 games on the card, I was like, oh, geez, there's just no fucking shot.
Imagine if Big Boss was here too.
Exactly.
I've got some additions in NHL. I'll tweet them out. In NFL, you guys know I'm on the over 41 and the Packers -3, -120. I bet those both on Tuesday night. In NBA, I'm going to be on the under 222.5 in Brooklyn, Portland, as well as the under 237 in San Antonio, Sacramento. I guess I've decided to stay off the Pistons. And then in college basketball, Cavs on Texas A&M first half -6.5, and I'm on Nebraska, Charleston, and VCU. And then I've got to figure out SMU Tulane still. I apologize for not hooking out. But let's go over to the Cappers contest show. Were you able to put a tweet together? I didn't give you much time.
The tweet is together. I just have to hit send because
okay.
I'll finish the show here, gentlemen. Jimmy.
Okay. Yes.
I hope you have a lovely 5 minutes. I'll see you here soon.
I don't need 5 minutes. I'll be there in 90 seconds.
I need 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll finish up the show. I'll finish up the show then. You bounce. Well, you bounce.
Well, I want to finish with this.
Okay.
Rebenga!